Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Spooky Japan podcast. We're excited to be back with you. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Cyn Shrader Hill. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on here.
Oh, we've been looking forward to it.
Not as
Yeah.
much as I have.
So, for our listeners out there who may not be familiar with you, how would you introduce yourself?
Sin. You can just say sin is fine.
How did your how did your experience in a where did your paranormal journey begin?
I actually haven't been in it for very long. So I just joined a team in 2013 and knew I wanted my own, but had no idea how to do that. So I had to be trained first. And then a few months later, I formed Elk Valley Paranormal and EVP for short, because I love to find the voices.
Mhm.
That sounds amazing. Did it start with like a paranormal experience that kind of made you a believer, or did were you always into the paranormal?
I was always sensitive, always felt things around me, but didn't understand why. And when I was 10 years old, I started having panic attacks,
Hmm.
really bad panic attacks. And up until 2013, I had no idea why. And one of the people training me, Wayne Baker from Ghost Hunters of Southern Tennessee, actually said, "You're sensitive. Do you know what that means?" And I said, "That I can feel things around me." He said, "Not only that, but you are probably taking on people's energy." And
Yeah,
that's what was causing me to have panic attacks. So, because I was already a nervous kid anyway and easily hyped up, but then taking on everybody else's energy around me was just too much.
I totally know how that is because I was the same way, especially as a kid. And luckily, I met Irene that she can kind of help me with that now. And I kind of wish I could go back and help my younger self. I always say this because I grew up as a Baptist minister's daughter, where if you had that kind of gift, you had to either have an attachment or possessed by something
Mhm.
or doing witchcraft. Me as a kid trying to explain, I'm not doing anything. I swear, no one was
Right.
believing me because they're like,
Mhm.
"Well, you have that gift. There has to be something." Because obviously, they don't believe they're ghosts. They believe everything's a demon. So they're just
Mhm.
like, "Well, if you're seeing demons, you're feeling demons." Oh, I think we lost her.
Yeah. Oops.
We lost her. Usually it's you, Irene. I always get confused when it's not you.
There was a grandmother in her background. She was telling me about her panic attacks.
Mm.
And I was talking to her while I was doing this.
So sorry.
That was fine. Usually it happens with Irene.
Yeah, I get kicked out all the time.
I apologize. I apologize. Um,
No, it happens.
okay. Well, what I was going to say is I grew up in the 60s and 70s. And back then, you could not talk about anything like that, especially living in the Bible Belt like I
Yeah.
did
Hmm.
and do now. And it just, you couldn't talk about, and you also couldn't really talk about panic attacks
Nope.
because they just thought it was all in your head anyway.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that is one thing we've always said is we wonder how many people were committed to the asylums who maybe were just sensitive, but no one knew how to handle it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Probably more than anybody would like to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there were children too, who it doesn't matter how young you are. If you could see things, you could see things, and yeah, and they'd say, "Oh, you're nuts, you're crazy. Yeah, you don't belong in the family. Out you go." You know,
Mhm.
and yeah, and how many of them died because of that? It
Right.
it doesn't make sense to me. And you just feel it inside.
Well, that and experimented on back in the day in those
Oh yeah,
asylums too,
they probably got
unfortunately.
lobotomies, shock treatment, you name it, they got it right.
unfortunately, they didn't get the help they needed because everyone just treated them like they were insane. So they probably thought themselves that they're going insane.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Just because I knew the fear I grew up with, because everyone couldn't handle
Yeah.
someone who was sensitive. And it's funny because they always believe like stuff like the gift of tongue, and I'm like, why can't you
Yeah.
believe in other people with other gifts? Why does it have to be if I feel them, I can see them, or I can hear them? Why does it have to be I'm
Yeah.
attached or has something possessing me?
Yeah. It was.
Even
Go
it
ahead,
was a
Irene.
no, it was a dark time, and you know what? Even in the church nowadays, because I'm Catholic, the parishioners don't like what I do. They said, "Oh, you can't do that. Oh, you can't be that way." And we had a guest who's demonologist who knew me from a little while ago, and said, "Yeah, you're right," because they don't accept that. A lot of people don't accept that. It's words are written down. It depends on how you take it and how you perceive it, and how you make whatever it is that they're writing down. It how you want to think it is makes it that way, and it's really not that way. It's how you want to believe. It's how you want to perceive those words, and if you're going to twist those words to make it easier for you to understand, then it's not really what they're saying, and
Hmm.
it's just really hard. So I kind of like went this way and said, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do that makes me happy. Okay, if you don't like it, that's fine. I don't care. So
Right.
that's the way I went, and it's sad because I want to be as right with God as I am. But on the other side, if you don't like what I do, then why should I? And it hurts me because they don't understand or they don't want to understand, right? But yeah, I mean, you can't make everybody believe what you believe
No,
in.
and you're not
Oh,
going to. You're not going
no,
to make anybody believe
no.
something they're not wanting to believe.
Especially if you can see things and they can't, like in this country, they're afraid. They know that they exist, but they don't want them to be on the same road as they are. So
Right.
they'll say, okay, you're there and I'm here. As long as you don't interact with me, I'm cool.
Hmm.
And let's coexist. That's how they act here. Right, Amanda?
Yeah,
And so being like us, like she'll keep to hers, I'll keep to mine. We interact with each other, but we don't interact with anybody else because of that here. And
yeah,
it's so sad because there's so much history and so much hauntings and so much unsettled spirits that it'd be great for a paranormal convention, but like this
They won't
won't
let it
happen.
happen, will they?
no, it'd also be a lot for people to travel because people asked us, have you thought about hosting a paranormal convention over there? And I'm like, over here, it'd just be me and Irene to show up. People would actually have to be willing to come to Japan. And unfortunately, I don't even know where we'd be able to book for a place like that. If you're like, yeah, we want to do a paranormal convention.
And they'll probably look at you, you go, you're freaking crazy, right?
I think it's more of a fear. They're worried they're gonna upset the spirits. So
That's
they're
that's
just like, we're not even. Because a lot of people ask me that, like, well, what do you think it is? Especially because a lot of their culture and traditions revolve around like the ancestors and the dead. We just recently had the Day of the Dead where they go out and they share a meal with their ancestors. So they're
Mhm.
like, well, how can they do that? They're obviously acknowledging that they can come back and that they're here. And I'm like, yeah, but the
Yeah.
reason why they ignore the paranormal, there's not any paranormal investigation teams or places you can rent to do
Mhm.
do a private investigation is because they're just worried about upsetting them.
Yeah.
Like we
mhm.
have so many
Yes.
shrines and temples built here, and they're only built to appease a spirit around them, thinking if I build this temple or I build this shrine, they're not going to be angry and they're going to leave us alone.
I went to several around your area, and it's amazing how reverent. Once you step into a shrine property,
Mm-hmm.
you you want to be quiet and
Yeah,
respectful.
yeah.
And they are some of the most beautiful
They
places I've
are.
ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
My family gets upset with me because I want to take the photos. I'm like, "'Cause it's so beautiful. I want to go back later and look.
Yeah.
I don't want it just a memory in my head. I don't want to be able to go back and look at it because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna regret the photos I did take. I'm gonna regret the
No,
Yeah,
photos I did not take."
that's
yeah.
right. That's right.
And they were amazing, Amanda, too, because I
Yeah,
loved every photo that you took.
because I loved, I wanted to take so many photos, especially like some of those temples and shrines. They just had so much detail on one little strip of wood, and I'm like, I have to take photos. I have to be. I want to be able to see it later.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I took a lot. I took a
Yeah.
lot.
So did I.
The cat see a spirit.
Yeah, her grandmother. As soon as he heard your voice, he started meowing and said, "Okay, here we go again, right? Okay, move your butt. Thank you." Oh, God.
It's
Okay, life with a cat that sees haunted things. Okay, great.
I told
Yeah.
someone, Irene, one of these days I'm gonna make a drinking game out of your cat, but I'm like, there is some podcasts I don't want to do that because the cat keeps putting his face with some of the guests so many times. They keep yelling at them so many times. I'm like, I feel like we we would die how much we would drink in some of those.
It's embarrassing sometimes, that when you try to have a proper conversation, right? You can't.
Mm. I'm
I said,
surprised.
okay,
I'm
okay.
surprised one of my babies hasn't jumped up here yet. I've got three. So you might see one or two. I don't know.
I have two. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, and some of the photos that Amanda took were haunted too.
Mhm.
And they did have a whole bunch of spirits in them too. And they were from the way, like, beyond where the samurai era was. And it was just amazing. But that's why they built shrines, because to appease the spirits, right? To make them feel like, okay, we're praying for you, we're praying for your spirit, we're praying for that you be okay, that you be in heaven. And yeah, they're there. And they're all over the place. Like, you can't go outside without seeing anything haunted. Where
Right.
she is, it's worse.
Yeah.
Where I am, yeah, you can see it, but it's totally different. Like, they're the ones that, no, 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 I'm not talking to you. But
Mhm.
for hers, like, they're gonna be in your face. I'm here. You don't like, you can bleep, bleep, bleep up your behind, right? But yeah, hers are really, they're more of a sad kind. Mine is more of like, so, like, like I said, yeah, I'm not talking to you. Bye. Like, okay, now you gotta go. You gotta go. Bye bye. Like, or take a number. Take a number. Take a number. But on her side, you just can't help feel the pain and feel the, it's just, it's overwhelming on her side.
Uh,
And her side, like, you got the Portuguese ship that came from all over, the European side and coming to Japan. They brought food, they brought the religion, they brought everything on her side. That's where it all came, that's where most some of our foods came, was from the Portuguese ship and from the Spanish ship, right? So yeah, and they tried to trade by silk and stuff like that. So, and they brought their religion too, and Yeah, they paid heavily for that one too, because they were, shall we say, crucified for doing that. And it's it's more of like a real haunting. Like, I bet you there's more spirits on her side than there are people.
Yeah,
So yeah.
There almost
I've
has to be.
I've
Oh yeah.
seen so many more shadow figures over here than I have anywhere in the United States.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'm so used to them just standing and staring, but usually when you see one in US, they're just like they're hiding or they kind of dart through. I'm like, here they just stand and stare at you, and everyone's just like, how come you don't try and get photos? How come you don't try and talk to it? Because it tells me it wants nothing to do with me, but the only reason why it's standing and staring at me is because they're like, this is my little area, you stay in the other area.
Yeah.
I don't know why you play that area, but I was just like, okay,
Okay.
I will stay out of your area.
Mhm.
And
You
you know
want that
what?
area?
They
It's
come out.
yours.
They come out on her side. They come out whenever they feel like coming out. Right? Like morning, afternoon, evening. They don't give a hoot. Right?
Yeah.
So if you want to find anything haunted, you can find it anytime of the daytime on her area. Right?
Mhm.
And yeah, they're not afraid to show their face. They're not afraid to show their body. They're not afraid to show anything. So it's for her side, it's almost like natural. Like, and sometimes they'll say, "I got your number," and they say, "I'm gonna," to you, and I said, "Huh? I dare you to, don't, you know, sorry, I forgot. You don't say that." He said, "Uh-huh, all right, bring it on." And they will bring it on. Believe me, they will.
Yeah, that's
They're
what I
not.
tell them. Like, this is why I leave them alone. If they just appear and you're like, this is my area, you stay on the other side,
Yeah.
leave me alone. I'm like, all right, we'll do. I will.
um. What have you seen? If you've seen any spirits in Japan when you were here?
I didn't get to see any. You just felt that the energy around you in
Mm-hmm.
different spots was you could tell when it changed.
Oh yeah. Like
No, I never saw any.
it's
Surprised
it.
you didn't. Usually they do, especially if they know you're sensitive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because they'll be right in your face, right?
Mhm. Oh, some that get so close, it just feels like you're suffocating.
Oh yeah. You can't breathe. Like yeah.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
That's also one
It's
thing I tell people is the energy from them here is totally different than it is in the United States. And if you're not, I don't know how to explain it, especially if you're not sensitive. I'm like, it feels different. It feels more overwhelming here. That's the only thing I can really say. It's just,
yeah.
I
And
bet. I bet if I went back, because I was over there in the early 80s.
mm-hmm.
So I was there for 3 weeks and we toured all over Japan. It was
Mm-hmm.
a music band and dance troupe,
oh yeah, very much.
and
Mm-hmm.
we went everywhere. But I bet if I went back now,
Mm-hmm.
that I would be able to pick up more than I did back then, because back then I was still going through panic attacks, not knowing what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know I was sensitive, had no
Mm.
idea.
It's really hard to even explain to anybody how you really felt, because unless you've been there, done it, you don't know, right? you,
Mhm.
and how do you explain it? Like, yeah, well, not, I can't. I can't.
Mhm.
And and sometimes when you say, I wish I had your abilities, I said, no, you don't. Have you ever had somebody come by you and said, I wish I had your abilities?
I've had both. I've
How
had
do
some
you feel?
people say, "Oh, I wish I could feel more things," and then others would say, "No, I don't want anything to do with that. Mm-mm. Nope, nope, nope."
That's what I usually say to people. No, 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 you don't. It's not. everyone has different abilities. So everyone taps into different parts of the paranormal and different things about spirits. So not everyone sees everything the same. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, one friend can see something and another person can see totally different. It depends on how you bring them together and say okay, and
Mhm.
you can come an understanding and you say yeah, and then you could tap into theirs and you could feel the same thing as they feel. It's amazing, right?
It
But
depends too on how they want to show themselves to you,
yeah,
because
yeah,
they can show, if we had one spirit that showed himself to all three of us might see him differently. I
yeah.
might see a shadow person,
Hmm.
Amanda might see full apparition, and you might see just like a black cloudy mist kind of going through the room.
Yeah,
So they can pick how they want to appear.
yeah,
Oh, I usually see them, especially the ones who died in an accident. I usually see them after, what their body looked like after they passed away,
hmm,
which usually is not pretty looking.
no,
Right.
no, no.
I've only seen, now I've seen
Hmm.
several shadows,
Hmm.
animals and people, but
Hmm.
I've only seen three apparitions,
Hmm.
and one straight on. I saw a little girl. The other two I saw in reflection,
Hmm.
and one was not human. The other one was a beautiful redhead, but she was showing herself as she was when she was young,
Hmm.
Yeah, I've
like
heard.
25, somewhere along in there. And she was beautiful, but she had lived to be in her 80s, 90s. I can't remember, but she wanted to show herself as a beautiful 25, 30-year old.
I've heard that theory from a lot of people was
Yeah,
people say, well, when they pass away, don't you see them as the age they passed away? And there is that theory of they go back to whatever age they want to be.
Hmm.
yeah,
I think so. I think a lot of them do.
yeah. And they show you how they want you to see them, not how they died or not how painful it looked or not horrible it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Go
for
back to
me,
a
it's
happy time.
yeah, for me it's the opposite. I get people how they're murdered. I
Wow.
get, I get, ugh. I get, I get the horrible parts. I get to see who killed them, how they died, and oh yeah, that's no picnic. Believe me,
No, that wouldn't be.
it's the most horrific thing. And I go, okay, why are you showing me this? And they said because I want you to see how I died. I go, okay, I get it. And it's really hard to stay focused and be objective,
Hmm.
but you have to.
I've got a couple of friends stateside that work with cold cases,
Hmm.
with police reports and things like
Hmm.
that, that they haven't been able to find the victim
Hmm.
and different things, and they've actually helped with different cold cases. So that's different. That's really cool if you can help find somebody that's lost.
I
That's
did that. I did a couple of them. It's just like,
nice.
yeah, it's one of those things I can do, but I can tap out of it, but I had to finish it. I had to finish it up to the end, and I said, "Okay, that's the last one I'm going to do." And here I go again, doing another one. No, no more, please. But you end up doing it again because you want to help the person because you see the victim and they come to you and go, "Hi, I'm dead," and I go, "Huh? What? Yeah, somebody killed me." I go, "Okay." like how can you not, right?
That is a good point, Andrew. How many times was like a medium or clairvoyant named a person of interest because of that? That's usually why clairvoyants stay silent because
Yeah.
you can't go to the police and be like, I know where the body was buried. Because you are going to be a person of interest, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're not going to buy the whole story of oh, her spirit told me, trust me, I'm a clairvoyant. They're gonna be like,
Yeah.
nah, you're coming in for questioning me.
Mm-hmm.
My friend's probably the same thing. We had him and his wife on our podcast, and I knew exactly where the kids are buried. Right, like one behind the master bedroom's window, the other one between two trees, boy and a girl and two boys, and then and he was gonna dig them up, and he he was gonna call the police, and I said okay, but then he said I think I'll just leave him there and roll flowers because if a cop tried to ever ask who told you, they said, "Well, like
Yeah, that's why a lot of that's
yeah,
why a lot
she's
of
a person in
clairvoyants
Japan
say
that
like,
she found them there." And I go, "Yeah." They said, "Oh, how do you know that?" And I said, "Well, like you nuts." Yeah, yeah. So he left it there, and he grew flowers instead on top of them. So yeah. you know at least he's protecting the graves, and he said I'll never sell the property, so the property belongs to my sons. I gave the property to my sons, the house to my sons, and I let them live there, and I cleansed it, I protected, and I let the spirits cross over, so the house is clean, it's nice, and yeah. But it's something that you really can't like, how do you know? Like, I just know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just see it. I can see them right there. They're thinking, I'm here, right here, in between the trees. I go, and I told the counselor, I said, yeah, they're right there in between the trees. He goes, what? I go, like, how do you know? I'm like, I just know, okay? I can't tell you how I know. I just know.
Mm-hmm.
that's why a lot of clairvoyants tell me they're asked all the time from people, how come you don't work with the police for unsolved mysteries and or cold cases? They're like, because I can't prove what I do.
Yep.
So then it becomes a little suspicious when I'm like, I know where the body is. And it turns out you're right.
Yeah. And they said, we're going to take you to Bellevue. I said, oh, hell no.
And then you've got a lot of policemen that don't believe in it
Yeah,
either.
that's why. Because they're just like most policemen they've talked to just don't believe in it. So like,
Mhm.
I can't prove it because it's one of those things where they want actual proof, and they're like,
Yeah,
how do you prove it?
you can't.
No.
You can't.
And
We
they
never
You
look
can
at
figured
you
be
and
out.
like,
then
you can be like, well, your grandma says this, and only she knew, and they're just gonna assume you really stalked them or something.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then they come up like a question like, what color underwear am I wearing? I said, how the hell should I know, right? We're not a circus. We're not a circus act, right? We don't do shit like that.
I see in a lot of Irene's comments. I've seen a lot of Irene's comments when she posts photos of herself in new groups to introduce herself, and she says, "I'm a clairvoyant." I see a lot of comments after it says, "Tell me my future," then, and she just doesn't respond because I'm just like, that's that's something different. She doesn't
Yeah,
do readings like that.
No.
it's different. It's all
And
different.
I refuse to do readings because somebody come back and say to me, hey, you told me this. That didn't happen. I said, what did you do? And they said, well, I did this and that and that. And I said, yeah, you changed your your view on things. You changed what you're supposed to do, and you didn't do what you're supposed to do, right, Amanda? And because they didn't do what they're supposed to do, that happened there. That's why. And then they said, well, you didn't tell me that. And I said, shh, you're not a child, right? You're an adult, right? You're a friggin' adult. You figured out for yourself.
Yeah, so I learned how to do different readings because I thought for sure that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do readings for people, but then I realized more I did it, more I don't want to do it because people usually when they have a reading done, they just want to hear what they want to hear. Basically,
Yep,
they just want to be told what they want to hear and not the truth. And unfortunately, you're wrong. They get
yep.
upset when you're like, "I'm not seeing this in the reading. I can't. I mean, you want me to lie or?"
Hmm.
This is what the reading says, unfortunately. But then there's also the people who blame you, like Irene says, if it doesn't come true. And when I started learning from someone, they said that's also why you got to be careful because people can change the outcome if they know about it. They say
Yeah.
the best example I can give is someone is the reading says this person is supposed to get a promotion. They get excited and they start, kicking back, relaxing more at work, stop doing what they were doing that was
Yeah.
earning them that promotion because they're like, I already have it. I don't have to do this extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
Mm-hmm.
promotion went to someone else. And
Yeah.
they're just like, why? And they're like,
Yeah.
you changed, unfortunately, you just changed it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And and another thing is that that's why I quit doing readings, and I just from now on I just said, okay, you're gonna have sessions with the person who loved one died. You could have a, a last minute feeling of saying goodbye and saying that whatever you want to tell them, you could tell them. That's what I do from now on. I
Uh-oh.
Now we're used to, there she is. I'm like, she'll pop up in a
oh
second.
shoot, see, they don't want me to talk about this. Sorry, okay, but let me just do this. Just one thing, just one, please, and we'll be fine. Okay, I won't do it anymore. Okay, okay, right. But I bring them in my home. I bring the call the spirit on, and I have the person on me on FaceTime and we talk or whatever. And they said, okay, their last goodbyes, I love you, I miss you, goodbye. And yeah, that's the end of that one. We're good, right? That's what I do from now on because readings is just too much. And it's exhausting too, you know. It takes a lot of energy to do one reading. Even what I do is exhausting. I can only go on for 6 hours. After that, I'm done.
I can't imagine 6 hours. I'm thinking three
Yeah,
hours at a
I'm like,
ghost
yeah.
hunt. You know, when you're ghost hunting, you get
Yeah,
that paranormal hangover that lasts.
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
real thing. I tell people.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is. It is. And you're exhausted. You're
yeah,
all your energy's depleted
yeah,
because you've used extra.
yeah.
And
Not only they
Like
use
one time.
extra, but they also take your energy too. That's also why
Yeah,
you feel it.
Mhm.
yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, well, don't you just feel the paranormal hangover because you're walking around in the middle of the night? I'm like, no, it's nothing new.
No,
It's because you're using energy. They're using your energy.
yeah.
That's why you just feel so hungover afterwards without actually
Mhm.
drinking.
That's why I asked my kids, "Can you make dinner for me?" And they go, "Why?
Yeah.
What happened?" Never mind.
Just go to
Just something.
7-Eleven.
Yeah, just give me the meat is in the freezer. Just go ahead and cook it. You know, do surprise me, okay? It's just a little bit too much. It is. It's the most. I think easier job is going out from 9 to 5 and just coming home and not doing anything. I think our job is the hardest ever.
They come when they want. They leave when they want.
Yeah, but for us, we can't do that. Well, some of us can. A lot of people say, "Yeah, you should leave it," but I said, "Yeah, but I'm a vessel, okay? I'm for them. I live for them, and I'm. This is what I do, and I just can't tell them to leave me alone. It depends on what it is. It depends on who you are and how you died." They said, "Nope, not doing that. Take a number. Bye." Like, yeah, because, but yeah, depending on what it is or who it is or how they died, if if it's if they off themselves, I just sorry that happened to you. You know, sorry I can't help you. Goodbye. That's the way that I do. Especially the ones here, because they can be jealous, they can be angry, they can be everything else, all the above, right? So know, don't touch them. But if it's something that happened, if it's an accident victim, yes, you just have to be careful. In this country of which spirits you want to interact with and which spirits you don't, which haunted area you want to go in and which haunted area you just leave it because they can be really dangerous here. and you could find yourself alive today and not unalive tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what people really don't understand. Like they'd ask him, "Well, why don't you go? Why don't you go ghost hunting?" I said, "Okay, not gonna go." I said, like, I said, it can be dangerous in this country, and they don't understand. And they don't want to listen, right, Amanda? It's
Right. Yeah. And I tell people that, like, first of all, it's not like America or the UK where you could reach out to a location, book that location, go hunt, do the investigation. Like, yeah, I can go to like a public park, but unfortunately, if I do that, no one's gonna believe any evidence I do catch just because you're gonna be like, well, how do I know there's not someone else there and that's the voice you're capturing? You said you're in a public park. There's so much interference. Blah blah blah. And also at the same time, the spirits here do they usually don't want to be talked to or messed with. They
yeah,
just want to be like left alone. I'm like, I'm not
yeah,
gonna bother them, but they don't want me to.
yeah.
Well, is it still very patriarchal there? So that the men spirits wouldn't want to talk to females anyway?
It depends on which shrine you go to. Some of them you can't. If you're female, you stand like this and you bow your head.
Hmm.
And others, they'll attack you if you're with your spouse or even a friend, a male friend. They'll come and attack you.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and I didn't know that either. I didn't know that until my friend told me. Right, who's from that area told me that. Yeah, yeah, that you have to. You can't walk with your husband. You can't walk with. You can walk with two ladies together, but you can walk with your husband. I said, my husband, that figures, right? Because it happened to my husband. He goes, and I said, "You sure?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh my god." And you're sitting there with your mouth and you go, yeah. It's just some female spirits can be really jealous or because the way they died or the way that they were killed. Yeah, it's just you
I
pick
get
what you
more
choose, right?
I get more tragedy ones down here.
Yeah,
Irene gets more suicidal ones up there.
yeah,
It's
And
so weird. I tell people this. Whatever part of Japan you're in, you're gonna get different kind of spirits. Like I get more tragedy. She gets more suicidal. The ones up north have their own thing going on. It's so weird.
yeah. Everything is so different, right?
I can't remember exactly where I stayed. Um, we we uh, we were all over Tokyo and um, Kyoto, but we
Mhm,
stayed in a little town between the two. We
mhm,
rode the bullet train, all that good stuff. But we stayed in another little town, and I cannot remember what it was. But we all split up. There were 30 of us, and we would be two to a home,
mhm,
and they called it homestays.
mhm,
This particular town, we stayed with an upper middle class family in their home, and they had made up a spare room for us and everything, and it was very traditional. We had an interpreter there with us, and I remember the wife sitting at the table cooking, and I tasted it and looked over at her and said, "Oh, this is very good." And the two men went, "Uh, something like that." And I didn't know what I had done wrong.
mhm.
And the interpreter said, "You cannot talk to her. You must tell the husband that the food is good." I
That's so
had
weird.
no idea. No idea.
I
So
don't know that.
that's that's why I'm wondering, do some of the spirits not want to talk to you because you're female?
See, that could be it too.
Yeah. Or that's really weird because in some homes they might like may act like that, but in other homes the female of the house gets first served
Hmm.
because she's the head of the house, and everyone else gets served afterwards. And in America it's usually the guest gets served first,
Right.
but in Japan the female head of the house is the leader. She is boss, okay? So she gets fed first, and
Hmm.
then everyone else gets fed afterwards, right? The guest would be second, and everyone else gets. But no, I've never heard of that custom.
I was shocked, and I was only uh, maybe 21 ish,
Hmm.
somewhere along in there. So, being that age, you think you know everything anyway, and you know nothing, right?
But yeah,
But
but
I
that was
had
kind of like wrong for him to say that to you because you don't know you're not from this country. You're from someplace else. So
exactly
I
the
would say,
first family we stayed with. We actually split completely up. I was the only one that stayed with them, and they found 30 different houses for all of us to stay with, and I was lucky enough to be with this family that they had brought in their niece that was learning to teach English for
hmm
um, the people around that area.
hmm
I want to say this was in Chiba, but
hmm
or around that area, but
hmm
they were very, very super nice, and they had written me and asked me what I like to eat.
yeah, that's
It
kind.
was so sweet, and I said, I
I
pizza,
don't know.
pizza, cheeseburger, spaghetti. I don't know,
Yeah.
grilled cheese, whatever you want. Do you know they had all of that there?
Really?
For that one meal, they had everything I had told them I liked. And I felt
Oh my
so, oh my goodness, I've made them
god.
spend way too much money. And
Yeah.
they were so super sweet. And I found out that the man there, I saw a book up on his counter, and I said, "Sprechen Sie Deutsch?" And he said, "You speak German?" And I said, "Just a little bit." So we talked in German while I was at his
Wow.
house, but that was strange. And then the other family we stayed with in Kyoto
hmm
was a more upper class, modern,
hmm
the like you're talking about. The lady
hmm
was pretty much in charge of how the
hmm
household ran. They had a
hmm
Western toilet, instead of
Yeah.
the trough. And just, I learned a lot over there. I learned a lot. Oh no.
Yeah, it happens with her. We're so used to it. There she is. I was like, yeah, we're so used to this with Irene that we don't even sweat it anymore. Remember when it
Okay.
kept we got so used to it. We had one guest on the show. That happened to her, and I'm still going on talking like it's nothing, and they're just like, "Are you not gonna check on her?" And I'm like, "Nah, she'll pop right back up in a second." She pops back up, and they're like, "Oh, you're right." I'm like, I mean, we're so used to it. That's why we just keep going because we're like, "Put me back on."
Like I said, this is a paranormal show. This is a paranormal podcast, okay? Like anything goes.
You never know what's going to happen.
And the difference between our podcast is we will openly talk about certain spirits and we'll talk about whatever and hauntings and stuff like that. Like we get into the no-nos of it, right?
Oh, so you sometimes get kicked off because of that? Yeah.
One time I got kicked off so bad I couldn't come back, and I said, Amanda, I'm gonna have to leave right now because they won't let me back in because they got mad at me. I said, trying to get back in, okay, copy link. Yeah, that don't work. They said that's no longer available. You're you cannot get that. It's eliminated, is it? So we get into conversations where people don't want to talk about certain things, right?
Mhm.
And we get right into the nitty gritty of it, not just the overall. Oh yeah, ha ha ha, that place, yeah yeah yeah, yeah. What is the experience? Blah blah blah. It's really like this from here to here, but we get into from here to here, right?
Yeah.
We really get into it. That's why it's so different, and we talk about things that you don't want to talk about, right? Or they don't, or we should talk about. That's why stuff like this happens to us all the time, right? So if you lose me, don't worry about it. But if I say I can't get back in, I really can't get back in. And sometimes it's okay. You guys gotta stop it. Everything comes for me through this side, so yeah. We're so darn used to it.
We don't even talk
Amanda,
anymore.
she,
Yeah, we're
she,
like nothing new, and everyone's just like, I can't believe you're not checking on Irene to make sure she's okay. I'm like, no, she is. How do you know? It pops right back up. Like I told you. We're just there's
we're
nothing
sitting here
new.
laughing,
Nothing
right?
new.
We're sitting here laughing, and she's trying to stop her giggling, and I'm trying to conclude. This has got to be the most embarrassing moment during podcast. Oh God, I'm turning all red. You're saying, okay, we're used to it. This is happening. That's, I guess, our podcast is so different, right? Because we will talk about things that they don't want to talk about,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
people don't want to hear, right? Because it's too scary. Yeah, but it's the truth, isn't it? Right?
It's a paranormal show. I don't. What were you expecting?
Right?
Yeah. Like we the first 15 seconds they're saying, okay, that was a great show, bye, and I go, huh? you know I think it's a hard subject, to tell you the truth, right? It's not all fun, it's not all games. It can be really tragic, it can be really very scary, or it can be really disgusting. You got you everything. Like, it's like a multiple choice, or it's like a Viking dinner, pick what you want, right?
Mhm.
it,
Mhm.
it
Sometimes you can't sugarcoat what happened, though. Like it's tragic, and I'm trying, especially when I did TikTok, 'cause I'm trying to tell the stories. And you know how TikTok is, you have to be very gentle about
mm,
things or they're gonna
yeah,
ban you. So I'm
yeah,
trying to figure out how to sugarcoat it so TikTok doesn't get angry. And I'm just like, there's no good way of sugarcoating some things. That's also what we do on a show. I'm like, look, there's sometimes you just can't because it's just
no,
with the paranormal. That's usually why there's a spirit. Something
yeah.
tragic happened. We can't we can't go around it.
Mhm.
You get killings, you get you get the way they're killed is really really nasty. But I mean, how can you sugarcoat it, right? You can't.
And on some of the platforms, you have to watch the actual words you say
Yeah.
about that particular how it they died.
Yeah,
I can't say suicide forest on TikTok because they don't like the S word. I'm like, I'm not gonna call it the unalived forest, okay?
Right? Right?
You know,
But
he's laughing. I'm like, look, if I say suicide forest, you know what I'm talking about. And
yeah,
yeah.
but TikTok's like, nah, you have to say unalived forest. So I'm like, that just sounds weird. I'm like, yeah, you guys know the famous unalived forest in Japan?
oh
Mhm.
God,
But that's how people are having to keep their videos on YouTube and everything. They're having to say stupid stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
remember,
I would
Amanda,
say.
you said Sasquatch, right? You got banned, right?
Yeah, well, some reason for some, I got thrown in Facebook jail because we had a podcast. It was with a Sasquatch researcher. So of course the post had the word Sasquatch in it, and for some odd reason, Facebook put me in jail because they're just like, we don't like that word Sasquatch. So I'm like, what?
It's
Who
everywhere.
is who is patrolling these? How do I get this job? You're just randomly
Yeah.
putting people in jail, put people in jail. And I'm like, I know people talk about Sasquatch on Facebook all the time. Okay,
All
Yeah.
the
I'm in those
time.
groups.
It's
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah.
I got put in Facebook jail for something I posted 2 years ago.
A
Hmm.
lot of people are saying that too, even with
Yeah.
YouTube. Their YouTube videos are getting them banned, and they're like, I posted this 2, 3 years ago, and they're saying it's no longer relevant or true, so it has and they get strikes.
It just doesn't make sense.
No.
Somebody that I think they just make those jobs. Those jobs shouldn't be there.
No. No. I mean it. Yeah. Who's because they're so busy policing us, nobody's policing them, right?
And they're not.
I got
They're
No.
thrown
not.
in Facebook jail once because I commented on someone's photo. It was someone posted a photo of a mutual friend, and they were just like, "Yeah, this person really helped me out a lot lately. I greatly appreciate them." And it was the mutual friend was another girl. My female friend was posting another girl, so I posted, I commented on there, "Yeah, she's awesome. I'll always love her." And for some odd reason, Facebook I got a ding on Facebook saying this is inappropriate, and I'm like, "What?"
How is that inappropriate?
That's what I said,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
It wasn't
TikTok.
it wasn't a threat.
It
No.
wasn't a
What
I was like, "Okay, who is watching this?" I'm like, "It wasn't even, like, romantic love." It was like, "Yeah, I'll always love her. She's awesome."
We
nothing makes sense anymore.
My
Nothing makes
friend had a post. It was a controversial place with controversial what happened a long time ago, World War II, and it was the N word, right? Of this couple spirits were not okay. They were NAZI, and it was in a graveyard, and the picture was shared many times all over Facebook, but then they took it down because they said, no, this is inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You just
It's
you just
just
never know.
Well,
it's
it's
just
because America is trying to erase the bad history, and we're just
it's
like,
it's
"We can't."
it's in a graveyard. They had two spirits there, and yeah, why is this inappropriate? Okay, sure, the past was really bad. Okay, Japan had a lot of bad things. Yeah, they did a lot of bad things too. Okay, everyone did. Okay, war, anything goes, right? Like nobody's an angel, right? So in the graveyard, two ladies standing there, and two spirits were there in front of a headstone. Okay, it's a paranormal picture. Okay,
Yeah. Why is that bad?
like we're not rooting for any left or right. We're not. We don't care. We're
Mm.
paranormal investigators. We don't what side, right? We're
Mhm.
just there for the evidence and saying, yeah, that is a paranormal picture. Yeah, there are spirits there. Yeah, this is a graveyard.
History's there for us to learn from.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when they're trying to erase it, it's
yeah,
Yeah,
just like, okay, they just want it all to happen again?
yeah,
yeah, that's what I was trying to explain to people was not only to all the Civil War statues come down, but
yeah,
also it's amazing what is being taught by it in schools now. It's basically they're
yeah,
not really touching slavery. It might be briefly mentioned, but
yeah.
to them they're saying that the Civil War happened because it was a power struggle with money because the South was jealous that the North had it and they wanted it and caused a civil war. And I was like, there's kind of more something to it than money.
There's
Tell the
a
truth,
lot
okay?
Yeah,
more to
and I'm
it.
just like, I know it sucks it happened, and I know that's very lightly putting it, but at the same time, we can't change it and us ignoring the fact slavery happened. It's not doing any good.
Yeah,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You have to learn from it and
yeah,
go from there.
yeah. And I posted something about Japan internment camps in American and everywhere else, and yeah, I got a lot of backlash from that one too. I should, okay, fine. Think what you want. but they don't teach that in schools. They don't teach anything in schools anymore, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, you have to learn on your own, right?
You really do. If and trying to look up something on internet is a watered down version now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They like Wikipedia, they
Mm-hmm.
don't have all of their facts right all the
No,
time.
no.
And it's what they want us to know, and that's
Yeah.
not right.
What they're saying, okay, this is what you should know. That's it. You don't like it, you could stick it up your hiney, right?
Yeah. I
This.
mean, if you really want to know about your history, you have got to find a library, go
Mm-hmm.
back, learn how to use those old fashioned microfiche
Mm-hmm.
machines and look
Yep.
up
Maybe
new.
decimal systems.
Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, that's the only way. And then the next thing you know, they're going to burn all those.
Oh
Because
god.
I
So,
don't even know if they teach that in school now. Because they just go to the library and get on a computer now.
probably,
Yeah.
probably. I mean, and so they're not learning everything they could,
Yeah.
but
The real problem that I have is that Amanda has to ask me about certain places that have history, because on her Google and my Google is totally different. They only give her like the watered down version, right?
really.
And then she has to ask me. She has to message me, and I have to find something else on my Google, which is mostly Japanese based Google, right?
And that's in the same country.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I still get like the American version of it, and it's funny. Sometimes I get both, but a lot of things I get the American version, and I'll be like trying to do like the TikTok on something paranormal, and I'm just like I always go to Irene to check the facts before I go there and say something. It's a good thing I do because she'll pull up this, she'll Google it and pull up what looks like the same website I just went to, and I'm thinking I was gonna say the same thing. That's just what I went to, and then she screenshots and sent it to me, and they have a different description. And I
Hmm.
was like, I'd rather go with the Japanese description of something over here than the American description. That's
Well,
so weird.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's not even just like historical places, but it's just like even with like the spirits, paranormal things,
Yeah.
like
Or
the
even uh, like cryptids or anything else like that. She has to ask me to pick it up because I can't, because she can't find anything, and she'll message me what she found. I said, hold on a second, let me look up what I can find, and I'll send it to you. It,
Wow.
yeah.
It
It's
shouldn't be that difficult. It
no.
really shouldn't, but
No.
they're making it this way.
Yeah, because they don't want you to know the truth about it, right?
I don't think so.
it doesn't make sense when it's a paranormal thing. Like the Inugami, the dog spirit, I did a TikTok on. I had to message Irene about it. This thing had like so many different. The American version has so many different descriptions of what it looks like and stuff like that. Irene pulled up something completely different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Japanese version. And so it doesn't even make sense. Why does America even care about Japanese ghosts and give the wrong information?
Yeah.
Why
Or
why
why are they
are they
so
changing something?
why are they
Yeah.
afraid of writing the truth about it, right? And give some kind of like a glorified information, like, yeah, it doesn't make sense either, right?
No. No.
And another thing that I think we're going to touch on also is that if we want to find out something about the history of a haunted place in Japan, good luck, because you ain't going
Wow.
to find it. You're
Vital
not going to
records
find
does not exist here.
no.
Because
No,
they don't really want you to talk about it, right?
that, and they're afraid of it,
Hmm.
because you get stupid people, right, who wants to
They're,
go there
they're
and just,
everywhere. They're
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, you get dumb people who want to go there for a thrill. So I can understand that also, but for us who really want to find the history of some place, you ain't gonna find it anywhere.
We've
And
had professional research teams reach out to us because they're trying to find the records of stuff. So they had like the proof of what actually happened there in black and white. Like we can't find anything given any other resources, and I'm like, look, we can't help you, not because we don't want to, we just can't.
Yeah.
You're not finding it because it doesn't exist. They're not hiding it from you. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Even if me or Irene walk in and try and get those records, we're still not. We're gonna come up empty. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you know what? Either they had them or they shredded them, or it was so bad that they don't want to show you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most like the second version is more likely, right?
Yeah. It's like all the files they've got over here that are closed. You can't
Yeah.
open them,
No.
you know.
And even with a court order, I don't think you
Right.
can open, right? Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. But, if I want to find something, I'd have to ask an old person for
And-
their version, which is
yeah,
probably closer to the truth than what's written there, right?
exactly.
So I'd
Exactly.
ask an old person, any person who I see in the same area as them. I'd ask them the questions, and they'll tell me. And they say, yeah, well, they'll ask me, what do you want to know? Because I'm a historian. I'm interested in history. And I don't want to tell them I'm fair enough.
No, because then they don't want to talk.
And this, you ain't gonna find out. Yeah, but
Mm-mm.
yeah, an old person who has way more information than any historian. I tell you that much, right?
That's right. And I think that's everywhere, but I think the Japanese respect their elders a lot more
Oh,
than
they
we
do.
do over here.
Yeah,
A lot more.
I think they respect them because they're afraid of them coming back to them and doing something that they don't want them to do.
Maybe. I don't know.
Most likely the latter, right, Amanda?
Yeah.
So that's why they do everything for them. They even as if you get old, you celebrate the elderly. You
Right.
give them, yeah. You make special
We're,
food
you
for them.
also get used to when you're younger. There's some places that even if someone older comes in after you, they'll still be out of respect helps before like the younger person.
Yeah,
Hmm.
So they're like, yeah, you see someone old coming after you, they help before you. Don't take it personally.
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because they said when they die, they don't want them to come after me because I didn't help them, right?
But over here, it's like all manners and all courtesy is out the window. You
Mm,
know, and you see an older person trying to walk across the road.
hmm.
It's nice to help somebody,
Yeah.
but the younger generation now,
Mm-mm.
they'll run all over you before they help anybody.
Yeah.
I
So
think it gets worse when those people come over here. And I
Hmm.
tell people, being over here, you start seeing it, you start noticing it. When I first got over here, people are gonna be like, "You're gonna start saying fucking Americans like you're not one." And trust me, you don't get it now. You soon will. If you don't, you're one of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was true. I see what they mean because for some reason people come over here and they're like, "I'm in another country. The people I know are not here," so they start acting ruder.
Hmm.
yes,
And I started saying that too. And there's times I was like, I don't. There's multiple times I've sat in a restaurant. There'll be an American at the other end of the restaurant, and they just start blaring music so loud that I can't even hear the person next to me. And I'm on the other side of that restaurant too, and I'm just like, and people are like, you never see that over here, and I'm like, I've seen that so many times over here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is rude in America. That's extra rude over here, where they're not as loud as people are in
right.
America in
That's
Yeah.
public
right.
places. So that's extra rude.
And when you go to another country, don't you want to go and see what their traditions are and how they
You
act?
think so, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't. I don't
No.
understand. Why did you come to Japan if you don't want to embrace their culture?
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
This is unfortunately why Americans or foreigners in general, got banned from the Gion district in Kyoto recently because people are just so rude to the
Geisha.
geishas. Geishas, yeah,
geisha.
geishas. Just you're
They're
so rude to the geishas. They were chasing them with cameras, trying to take a photo, even though there's signs that says do not take their photo without permission, or there's gonna be a huge fine. They don't care because they're
No,
like, I'm in another country. I'm gonna get that photo. They're literally chasing them down to the point where they can't walk straight. They're trying to run away from. They're still chasing them in their face with that camera, and they said it's not just that, but they follow them home. They're
and
taking photos outside their windows. They're waiting for
or
them
they're even
outside
going in
their
their home,
door.
aren't they? I heard that somebody was breaking in the person's home just to take just to take the pictures.
people just don't care about other people's property and other people's
Yeah,
Yeah,
personal space. It's 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 gotten bad. It's
yeah,
really bad.
you know,
yeah, that's
because
why.
and on this side, like it's more countryside, so the people are open to saying to that American, right, or foreigner. But on my side, everyone says, "Yeah, we don't care. You can do whatever you want. Just don't come in my face," right?
Mhm.
In Tokyo side, they're just like, "Yeah, whatever." It's more like comparing to Tokyo's almost like comparing to New York.
Mhm.
It's a huge city. Everyone does whatever they feel like doing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do whatever I feel like doing. I don't care what my neighbors on the side or this side of my house like. We'll say hi whenever we feel like it. Yeah, we say, and then we just go about doing our own business, right?
Mhm.
usually, unfortunately, because of how rude people have gotten visiting here, that when you
Yeah,
hear the word gaijin, it means foreigner, but
yeah,
usually majority of the time when you hear gaijin, it's meant in a derogatory form because they're just
yeah.
like,
You don't want
It
those kind.
in a
Yeah.
negative form, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm just like, it's some people it's almost the equivalent of saying the N word in America because they're
yeah.
just
But
Mhm.
for
they have that
me,
much hate. I get it after watching how people are over here.
yeah, yeah.
I get it. I'm like, unfortunately, not all of us are like that, but I
No,
get it after seeing
yeah,
you deal with how many people.
yeah. Like from
Mhm.
my side, like everyone loves to go to Disneyland, right? And I saw this poor American man with his three children. They were lining up to get some food. And I said, "Can I help you?" In English, they said, "Please, what do you want to eat? Just tell me and I'll tell her." And then I got his food her. I told him, "Okay, this is how you pay. You put that and that and that money there, and that's good enough." And she'll give you change. He goes, "Thank you so much." He was in tears. I'm like, you
Mhm.
know, I'm there. I'm gonna help you. I don't care. I don't care. They look at me and say, "You speak English?" I go, "Yeah." This, oh, like, I feel so sad, so sorry for them. But I gotta tell you one thing, okay? English is not. It's a recommended language you have to learn, but
No, it's a terrible language.
It
It's a
is.
it's
That's what we
terrible
tell.
language.
That's one thing that we're saying. Like when I took French in high school, and they said it's different from people who are trying to from other countries trying to learn English. They're like, well, think about it. How many different spellings of a word? How many different spellings of the same word do we have? Or
yeah,
how many that look similar, but the first letter is off, but they sound different. But also
Mhm.
think about the ones that are the silent letters, the ones that are spelled the same but said
yeah,
different with different
Right?
meanings, like live and live.
yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
And
So difficult.
yeah,
I think it is the most difficult, other than maybe Latin.
mm-hmm.
But I think ours is, and it's ridiculous how hard it is.
Yeah. Like in Japan, like they've got a totally different dialect here as they have there, and his my husband's mother comes from the same island as she's living in, and I said, "Huh?" Like, what? Because my mother comes from Tokyo, I understand it's more like a basic international dialect of Japanese, and when his mother said, "I go, huh?" I asked myself, what'd she say? I don't care. It's like southern. It's like Southern American, if I can explain it that way. And I go, like, I'm lost. Like here, I'm
Southern.
on.
Are you talking about Southern America?
Yeah,
You mean that way?
yeah, that way.
Southern America is totally different than the
Yeah,
rest of America.
yeah.
Right?
And it's like, that's how it is on her island. It's like I'm going like that. I can't. I said to her, I didn't understand what she said. And I'm sitting there, tears. I go, uh huh. And my husband's laughing his guts out, and I feel like kicking his ass, right? Because
I guess
he don't know.
the best example to say how you know Southern is completely different than everything else is if you go up north and you said bless your heart,
Yeah,
yeah, you'd be like, oh, that's so nice. If you go to south and say bless your heart, oh, those are fighting words.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But I tell you, because I've lived all over, and I'll say, oh, and I truly, truly, truly mean it. Oh, bless his heart. I hate that for him. Or, and
yeah,
they'll say, why would you say something awful?
yeah.
No, I was being sincere.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you're being kind about it. Like, really, like you
Right.
feel for that person, right? You
Yes.
feel for that person, what that person's going through, right? I
Mhm.
understand that. I get that. I don't see why anyone else doesn't get that.
But
Exactly. But
it's
I
also
have, I'm sorry, I have used it as well, bless your heart, honey.
yeah,
That
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
it's the
It's
same
just,
thing. It's the same thing if so in the south, and my friend even said this. She was working at a call center in sales, and she was just like the southern people, especially because she was born and raised in the south too. You say ma'am, it's respectful. To
of.
the
yeah,
people up north, who are from the north, you say ma'am, they get instantly insulted. Like you just called them
Yes.
the B word. They're
Yes,
like, excuse me, what did you just call me?
yeah.
exactly.
And they're like, ma'am, and they're like, no, no, I'm not a ma'am.
Exactly
Them
This is
right.
what
fighting words, right?
yeah, it's the equivalent of I just called you the B word, and you're like,
Exactly. And I still, because I was born and raised here in Tennessee and moved back to Tennessee. And so we're a southern state.
Yeah,
And, you know, I've yes sir, no ma'am, thank you, please, all that kind of stuff all my life.
yeah.
And I married a guy from
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania who
Mm-hmm.
never had to say ma'am, sir,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. So his kids weren't raised to say that,
Yeah,
yeah,
which is totally against how we were raised.
yeah.
yeah,
And
But
you Southern values, right? And the kids don't, huh? Like,
mhm,
yeah,
get
because she
those.
kept accidentally calling some of the ma'am, and she's like, I'm so sorry, just it's I'm southern, so
Yeah,
it's it feels weird not saying ma'am. I'm
that's
sorry, it's
right.
just a habit.
That's exactly right. Gosh, I can remember being out somewhere and being told, I would say yes. And you would hear from behind you, one of your parents, or not even a parent. It could be just
mm,
a person in the town going, yes, what?
yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, you know, that's where you think something happened with the kids nowadays. I was like, I don't know.
They don't care. They just
Yeah,
don't care.
I'm still scratching my head over that. Okay.
Yeah, it's gone crazy. The
Yeah,
world's gone crazy.
yeah. There are times when I kick your butt, and I still kick my kid's butt. I don't care how old. My eldest is 28. My youngest are both teenagers, right? And I'm gonna kick your butt. They said, try it. I did. They said, ouch. And I said, yeah, you deserved it. But yeah, you wish everybody had a southern grandpa, grandma with teaching your kids.
You David, but unfortunately, it's not good manners all over the
No,
United States, which is weird.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think the kids who were born in the '60s would never get away with the kids that are born in the '80s or '90s, right?
Oh no.
Or
Mm-mm.
even the one born in the 2000s.
Mm-mm.
No, mm-mm,
Totally different. Raised
mm-mm.
totally different.
Yeah, like we'd be afraid what happened when we get home.
Oh goodness. If we got in trouble at school,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. We knew there was discipline waiting at home
Mm-hmm.
from depending on how bad it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
mom and dad. We
Yeah.
also had my mom's mom, my grandmother, living with us. So she
Ooh.
was the first person I would see coming in. So if
Ooh.
she heard about it, she would be the first person to discipline, then my mom, and if it was really bad, dad would be the third one.
Ooh.
So
Dig your grave.
Yeah, usually when it gets to dad, then you're great.
exactly. Oh goodness, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing when um we go and investigate places like kids trash places. Okay, of history. They trash hospitals here in Japan, old hospitals, and they spray painted it. And it was the best haunted place ever to visit because it was an old hospital, and it's out west from us. It's near the Pacific Ocean on the other side, and it was one of the best paranormal places to visit. But kids trashed it. They spray painted it. They wrecked it, and everyone knew this particular haunted hospital. It was decommissioned a long time ago, but man, there was evidence coming out everywhere, and you could hear spirits talk. You could see shadow people. I mean, wow, it was one of the greatest place to visit. Even I wanted to go there and not just investigate, just to walk through it and see what I could feel.
Mhm.
And it was one of the, not beautiful. I wouldn't say beautiful. It would be, to me, it would be beautiful. Okay, because I'm looking at it different eyes. But they really trashed it, and they had to tear it down.
Well, those spirits went somewhere.
Yeah, I think they're still on the property.
That's usually what happens.
It,
It's
Mhm.
funny when people tear down a haunted location and they're like, problem solved.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they
Nope.
rebuild something, and then they
Oh yeah.
wonder why things are happening again. And it's like, because they're attached to the land. What did you think that they get bulldozed with the house? You just flatten the spirit? That's not how it works.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
And they make a stupid park out of it, right? Yeah, right. Who'd call? That's
They'll
what they do
they'll
here.
find someplace. They'll find someplace. I know my friend Mark, his grandmother's house was haunted, and
Hmm.
the family ended up selling um,
Hmm.
years and years later, and then where his grandmother's house sat now is a group of condominiums. So you know somebody, if not all of the people in the condominiums, are having some kind of activity.
Irene lives in a place before this house she lives now that there is activity in the whole building.
It was a
My first
condominium.
my first apartment that I lived in by myself. I didn't know this until after I moved in. The whole entire building also had activity because it was originally built as a heart doctor's hospital.
Hmm.
They just remodeled it to be an apartment building.
Wow, that's odd.
Yeah, I didn't know that then, but then because I weird things would happen, then someone finally told me, I'm like, this explains so much. But the
Hmm.
weird thing is that place also had a haunted dog, which I couldn't figure out where this
Oh,
ghost dog came from because I'm like, I wonder if the hospital had a dog
maybe it
for
was the
some reason.
surgeons. Maybe it was
Yeah,
Yeah.
the doctors.
Yeah.
Because our pets come back and visit.
Yeah.
yeah. It was just run down the whole building, so
Mhm.
you'd hear it barking. Sometimes you hear it barking in your own apartment, and you're like, I know I don't have a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Th-
and some
There's a
some
hotel chain. I think either Hilton or the Four Seasons, one of them in Texas that I want to go and stay in. It was an insane asylum. Okay. They kept the building. They made a hotel, a beautiful hotel. Guess what? Yeah.
little bit haunted.
Oh, just a little bit, right? Just a
Yeah,
tiny bit room. Just
a
this
little
much,
bit.
right? The morgue is now where the pool is, right? The swimming
Oh,
pool.
really?
Yeah. It's pretty bad. And when I was looking at the picture of the hotel, I could see a doctor. It was the 11th floor was the operating room. He went to his own neck and jumped.
Oh,
And
wow.
I saw it right in front of my friggin' eyes. I said, and the operating rooms are on the top floors. I said, oh my God. I just saw it out of my own eyes. I could see him. Oh my God.
Wow.
And I said, that's one hotel I want to visit.
I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah. It, it's just like crazy haunted, but it's one of the most expensive, beautiful hotels to visit. But just looking at it, if you look at it and look at it with not with these eyes, but the eyes in here,
Hmm.
and I started sweating. I started feeling all kinds of yeah. And I looked at the swimming pool. I said, "Okay,
Wow.
yeah, that's a morgue." Yeah.
Wow.
And they had a chute where if a person died on the operating table, they have a chute where they just have to shoot the bodies went down to the basement,
Hmm.
and I could see that. And yeah, it was like they didn't care, just one right after the other.
Yeah, I wonder how many places actually had those kind of shoots because there's one at Waverly Hills, and
Hmm.
I'm sure that other places had
Yeah,
those.
I've
it
heard of
looks
other
like a
places
laundry
having
chute.
them.
It looked like a
Yeah,
laundry chute. Yeah,
I've heard of other places having them.
I You
yeah,
think? Mhm.
and yeah, and I just said, I said, okay, I'm getting creeped out.
It's because some places really didn't care about the people or the bodies, unfortunately, because, like I said earlier, experimented on them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
unfortunately, it had passed away. Why would they even treat them even better? They were just like, "Oh, that sucks." And just kind of throw them down the chute or whatever.
Oh, okay. Number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, bye. Like,
hmm. I know
next.
when I was visiting
Hmm.
Savannah, Georgia, we took a ghost tour around part of the town, and it was really interesting, very good. When we
Hmm.
got to the fountain, the that's in most everyone's pictures, they across the street was a hospital, and it
Hmm.
had been there many, many years. But supposedly there were tunnels underneath at one time. I don't. I'm pretty sure they're closed now. You can't get to them, but they are still underground.
Hmm.
And when one of the um, diseases came through, and I don't know
Hmm.
if it was a plague or,
Hmm.
what exactly, Spanish flu, something like that,
Hmm.
they had so many people die that they ran out of room. And so they just started putting people where they could. And they said there's so many people buried from that fountain out and underneath or around the hospital or whatever, that it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, and it just makes you wonder if they did that there, they probably did that pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot
Stack
of
them up, right?
I've heard a lot of underground tunnels and places, so that doesn't surprise me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'd like to see the catacombs in France. You know?
That would be something interesting. So I would too. I know a lot of people said I wouldn't want to. I'm like I would.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not all that has been discovered what's down there, and some people have found secret entrances into the place, so they have their own societies down there. Because I've heard a lot of stories where people, they know how to kind of hide because they're so used to it. And then at night, because a lot of people at night would be down there for whatever reason, they'll just see, or during the day, they'll find another little passage and find. There was at one point what looked like a bar, a working bar down there, but it was during the day, so the people wasn't there. They found a movie theater that looked like it was recently just used, and then when they went there the next day, the bar would be gone, or the rest, the movie theater would be gone, and they're just like, "How it was just right here, I swear." It's like someone
Yeah.
knew, like there's someone was watching them for wherever they were, they didn't see them. They
Wow.
saw like, "Oh, it's been discovered," and then right when they come back, it's completely vanished.
How
There's a lot
weird.
of that. That's why people say, yeah, if you find a secret entrance, be careful because there are people who live down there. They just know obviously where to hide because they found it before other people, like tour guides or other people have.
Wow.
I wonder what would you find paranormal wise as far as voices or EVPs or anything, right?
There's no telling because
Mm.
if they had it for um I don't know, 4 bodies at one time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or you know, there were so many tunnels that people probably got killed down there for
Yeah.
Yeah, I
whatever
mean,
reason.
you wouldn't even know because you just see a skeleton and you just assume it's just another one down there they had down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh well, another skeleton. Here we go. Next.
Mhm.
I'm sure some of the skeletons they have down there, though, their spirits followed.
Had
Oh
to
yeah.
be, had to be, and it had to be traumatic, something
Mm-hmm.
traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
There's no telling what all.
Oh, yeah. Pick your choice, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I, yeah, I feel that same way. There's so much that we don't know
Mm.
about our own planet.
No. And there's so many fascinating places like the pyramids and
Mm-hmm.
the terracotta warriors and
Mm-hmm.
so many Easter Island.
Yeah.
So many odd places, and
Yeah.
it would be great not to have to worry about money and you could just go anywhere and
Yeah.
and investigate everything, because I'm sure that those places that have weird things
Mm-hmm.
around, the
Mm-hmm.
energy's got to be different. I know Stonehenge, the energy is different there in
Mm-hmm.
England.
Yeah.
It's a reverent kind of
Yeah.
energy and it's
Yeah.
nice. And then you go in other places like I can't remember exactly where I was, but it was an old building in England and it felt like you were backed into a corner.
Mm.
So, people had been killed around that
Mm-hmm.
area.
Yeah.
Everything is just so old. I'd love to just travel and see everything.
Come back to Japan.
Yeah, I'd
We'll
love
take
to. I would
we'll take you
love to.
we'll take you on a different kind of tour. Like
Yeah.
Anytime
places
I
that
see someone ask a question in a post, what is your paranormal bucket list? I always comment, y'all need to be adding Japan to this. Trust me, y'all need to be adding Japan.
because you see the places that I know are not on everyone else's things to what to see, right? Haunted
Right.
places, right? So I go off the list, and my husband bought a real cool book. He said, "All the haunted places in Japan." And I said, "Oh, great." And I showed Amanda, and she goes, "Oh, this is different." They go, "Yeah, we gotta go there."
Japan, how you find out about stuff is a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
I like the places that people don't know of, right?
Right?
There are so many samurai warriors' graves that are so freaking haunted, right? They had a TV show on the History Channel, and they were talking about how they lived and blah blah blah. And near the end of the show, they showed their grave and go, I'm going like this. And I said, "Damn!" And then my husband says, "What?" And he goes, "Freaking haunted." And he goes, "You're kidding?" I go, "Yeah, I can hear him blubbering, blah 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 out of his grave." I said, "Ooh, wow!" I gotta go there.
Wow.
You know what? Like I say, if you can't see, feel, hear what they're saying, I'm not gonna try to convince you that this is what I hear and this is what I feel. This
No.
is what I see.
no.
You
Mm-mm.
believe it or not. If you don't, that's fine too. If you
Yeah.
believe me, that's fine too. But if you
It's
can hear it, that's even better, isn't it?
mhm. It's like some of my EVPs. Um, I stand behind my EVPs, and
Hmm.
I've got one that sounds so real. It sounds like someone is actually in the room with us
Wow.
talking, and I know he was not there alive because he
Hmm.
had died almost a year before.
Hmm.
And this is my nephew.
Hmm.
My sister was telling me a story,
Hmm.
and Wyatt actually spoke while she was
Hmm.
telling me this story I was recording for a book. And I have played it for other people, and they cannot believe how clear
Hmm.
and how unmistakable it is. And some people say, well, it's got to be fake. Well, I don't care if that's what you think or not. I
Yeah.
know it's not.
Yeah.
I know it's not.
And it's not up to you to prove that it's real or fake. Either you believe me or not. If you don't, that's fine too. If you do, that's even better.
That's
Right?
right. That's right. I'm not going to
Unfortunately,
argue anymore.
No, no.
unfortunately, I feel like with social media, it's gotten harder to post real evidence just because
Oh
no one believes
God.
in anything. And that's
Yeah.
unfortunately why, even in Japan, I feel like that's why the paranormal's looked at differently from the younger people compared to the older
Yeah.
folks who, if something happened, you knew it was real because you didn't have AI to fake something or
No.
speakers to fake a voice.
Hmm.
Compared to now, and see things on a lot of YouTube or TikTok, the person fakes it for like the views and the follows. Everyone's so used to that. That's why people are just like, I don't think it's real. Or when
Hmm.
they do investigate, you find out there were those people who put a
Yeah.
speaker in the other room and play something
Right.
so it sounds like the spirit over there, or they clearly used AI or Photoshop to put something in.
Yeah.
Hmm. Or a
Do-
string to pull something across the room or
Yeah.
slam
Yeah,
the door
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's easy. That's just the wind. I said, yeah, but
Hmm.
we debunked everything. How can you say it's the wind, right?
Hmm.
No, there's no air coming through. There's no air conditioning in the room, and there's no bug around the room. So yeah, what is it? And they said, I don't know. I said, yeah, you're right. You don't know. Neither do I, because you can't say it was a bug, right?
Hmm.
What do you feel about history? Do you feel it could be rewritten again?
Oh God, I hope not. I hope I hope they quit erasing everything and
No, no, it's not that. As far as spirit wise, if you could hear spirit talk and how they lived, and 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 because something's written saying that this is how they lived, this is how they died, blah blah blah. Do you feel it can be written because the spirit has said no, that's not how it happened? No, I had several spirits tell me that no, that's not what happened to me. I was killed. This is what happened, and they're saying it wrong.
yeah, it could be cover-ups.
hmm
You
Yeah,
know, so somebody murdered somebody and
yeah,
then made it sound like it was a suicide. Like
Yeah,
these
yeah,
hits happened.
yeah. Or
So
they were crazy, but
yeah,
they weren't crazy at all. They were sound
right,
mind. And
right.
yeah, I had several spirits come up to me and say, "That's not right. That's not true. This is what really happened to me." And they're coming in tears, right? Because they're
Wow.
telling me this. And it's so sad. It's so hard.
Well,
And
and that's one reason some of them can't rest.
yeah, yeah, because nobody believes them.
Yeah, because their true story's not out.
Yeah, and th- and they said, well, and then I had a friend who talked to the historian and said, well, this what happened? They go, how do you know? You're not supposed to know this. Like, yeah, yeah,
Spirits get tired of the truth not being known.
yeah,
So
yeah,
then they get excited when someone is there that can see and hear them. You're like, let me
yeah,
tell you what actually happened. I've been wanting people to know this.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think enough with this baloney stuff that's written down, and let's talk about. Let's tell them that. Let's give them what they deserve. Let's tell them the truth, okay? Like, you're not gonna hurt anybody except yourself by not saying the real thing, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I, and then people come to me, yeah, spirits can lie. I said, yeah, they can lie too. I know that. I had that done to me. I've been told to blank off too, right? And yeah, that's true too. But I mean, I bet you 80% of the time they come to me and they tell me what really happened. And yeah, you can't ignore it, right?
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
or this is what or this is what this place really happened a long time ago. There was one place that I know, it's a hotel now, but they had a swinging doors like in the Western movies. They had one of those, and then they had call girls, and they had upstairs was a brothel, right? And yeah, that's what happened. They said, "How do you know?" Just guessing.
Right.
Yeah, just guessing. They said, "You're not supposed to know that." They said, "Okay, don't tell anybody." They said, "Don't tell anybody." Why not? Right?
The spirits want it to be known. That's
Mhm.
But then they're saying, "Don't tell anybody." Okay, so I got loads of information all over the place, right? I can't tell a single thing about anything about anybody, so I have to keep it to myself.
And that's
You know
sad.
how
That's really sad too,
it's
because
frustrating.
yeah, it has to be. It has to be.
Yeah.
And that's not going to ever let the spirits rest either.
No, no. It's gonna sit with me till the day I die, and I can't tell a single damn soul.
there's
You know,
some places that also makes up history
Mm,
just to get the attention too. Because I knew people they were an investigation team. They're
yeah,
called out to, I believe it was a bed and breakfast, and the person
mm,
was trying to be like, oh, it's haunted. We just need a team here to kind of confirm it.
mm-hmm,
So they did, and they're just like, the owners did stuff to
yeah.
fake evidence just so we'd be like, yeah, this place is haunted, because then it's their gimmick.
yeah,
Oh,
Oh wow.
confirmed this team confirmed it was haunted. So that's kind of free advertisement, because then it gets around a paranormal community. Then they're gonna want to stay there and try and get ghosts. And they're like, yeah, they just started faking everything, so we just left because it's like I'm not gonna sit there and try and go through things to figure out if it's real or if it's something else they faked. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
wow.
I even got when I was watching the inauguration of the president. I got hi. I go, yeah. Who are you? And he go, I'm the person that's in an unmarked grave in Arlington Cemetery. I go, okay. Yeah. First of all, tell me what your name is. Then he said, Robert. I go, why are they calling my grave an unmarked grave when I do have a name? I go, okay. I can't tell anybody what I know, right? I just, yeah, okay. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this information, right?
Mm-mm.
Me tell somebody, yeah, right. I'm cuckoo, right? It's just, yeah, our field is still kind of like, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though it's more open, yeah, you're right. It is open, okay, but you're not going to listen to me.
Right.
And
There's
I
who,
think it's more of the mystery that keeps it more popular. So that's also,
yeah,
even if they did confirm a name, they could do a DNA thing and confirm a name, and they still would keep it that just for the publicity and the attention.
yeah. And he was kind of annoyed because he said, I have a name. Why are they calling me the unmarked grave? Because I am a person. I did die. Yeah, they're just refusing to know my name, he said.
wow.
And am I going to tell anybody about that?
No,
Never.
no one's gonna listen to you anyways.
Nobody.
Let's
And,
Yeah.
be honest. I already know one's gonna listen.
That's right.
and I live half around the world, right? And I even told Amanda this, and she goes, "You're kidding." I go, yeah. And it's
No,
so frustrating as heck, but no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna keep it to myself. Okay, yeah, okay, I get it. So I keep it to myself. And there's just so much mystery that we could unsolve, but I guess they want it,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna keep it that way
Right.
because it's more interesting, right?
no, there's yes, because there's a lot of unsolved mysteries that's been solved. They just don't want to tell us for that reason.
No,
Mm-hmm.
no.
That or they don't like the truth, so it's not something they're gonna
No.
broadcast.
And you know what? It makes our part kind of really frustrating because we know a lot more than they think we know, and yeah, we just can't tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Even you have a lot of information too that you may know that you're just not gonna go out there. I'm not gonna risk my
Well,
butt.
it just depends on here who I talk to. There's some people I know not to bring up anything with.
Hmm.
It's not worth it. They're not gonna believe. They're gonna fight about it, and so I just ignore. I don't even bring anything up. And then there's another set that want to know more
Mhm.
and want to learn as much as they can. So I don't advertise, but they'll ask me questions and I'll
Yeah,
say, oh, let me see if I can't help you a little bit.
yeah,
But I quit putting myself out there
no,
as far as that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And I'm not a medium. I'm not clairvoyant. I'm not any of those things. I'm just a
hmm.
little bit sensitive. That's it.
Oh, you know what? You have a lot more abilities than you think you do.
I think we all do. It's
I
just
think
we've not developed.
you tapping in on it because I could see it.
Mhm.
I just listen to just hearing you, just seeing inside of you. Sorry, okay, the innards of you. Okay, I could see a lot more that you have, that you can do. It's just a matter of tapping into it and just bring it out from in here,
You're
down
right.
in here. You
You're exactly
can,
right.
because you're sensitive means that you can do a lot more. You
Mhm.
can see a lot more. It's just opening yourself up a little bit more.
That's
And
right.
yeah, and maybe doing a lot more. Like, you see, I can meditate with the TV on. Okay, that's how good I am.
Mhm.
Like, you can have all the noise around you. Just learn to draw it, remove it out of your mind. Just do it. And the one way I like doing is I have the TV set on and I can just go close my eyes like this. I'm out. I'm somewhere else, right? But yeah, I mean, the more you do it, the more you can get in touch with yourself. And I
Mm.
think the more you do it, I think the more you can see more.
I think you're
And
right. I think you're
and not be afraid of it, because there's nothing to be scared about, right?
right. My
It's just coming into view with yourself, right?
right.
And being one as whole.
Hmm.
I think it'll help you more.
I think you're right. My
Yeah.
friend Mark, that does my covers, the covers of
Hmm.
my books and
Hmm.
illustrates and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
He's a psychic medium and a
Hmm.
trans artist, and he's very talented. He's done a few investigations with us. He's also one of my closest friends.
Hmm.
And whenever I am standing or sitting next to him, I know more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, Mark, is there something to that? Are you
Hmm.
like giving me extra energy or something? He said,
Hmm.
kind of
I
like,
usually I usually say, "What do you feel? What's around you? How do you feel?"
mhm,
That's my first questions. And I said, "Okay, what do you feel about the place? What's going in your body?" And then they tell me, I go, "Okay, go on from there.
mhm.
Use that and figure it out." And that's to Amanda, and I said, "Okay, Amanda, don't worry about it. Just calm down. Let's take it one step at a time." And yeah, it's really hard when you're on the learning side, right? And you can't freak out. Yeah, it's like I have one understudy on underneath me, and she's a Native American, and yeah, I've had her. Okay, you know what you can do. Do it. Go with your own energy and do it. And she said, "Okay, I'll do it." And so yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of hard, and it takes a lot of energy too. I always say, make sure you feel good. Make sure you have no issues in your head. Make sure you got nothing going on with you. If you do, you don't do it right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, that's one major problem, right, Amanda?
You gotta
Like,
check your own energy before you can do anything.
yeah, make sure you don't have a cold either, because they'll make your cold even worse, right? They'll
Yes.
like,
Yes. And that's just like going, if you've got any kind of sinus issues or
hmm
sore throat or anything like that, and you go on a ghost hunt, it's going to be worse after it because
Yeah.
you're going to automatically be more run down from that paranormal hangover, and
yeah.
it's all going to be worse.
Oh
They
yeah.
also find it funny to make things worse too. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
When I went to Hiroshima, okay, I did my investigation. They said, "I can see you." I said, "Yeah, I can't, so don't bother me." I just said that just out of the blue, just to say no, I'm not doing that. And when I went there, I had bad knees. Okay, I lost both cartilage in both of my knees. It just because of my age, and they just went after my knees like you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And oh, I was in so much pain. I cried. I couldn't even get back to the hotel. And they had these particular ants that my husband knows of, but he's never seen them come. They came after my husband, and he was packing all my crystals, and they came charging after him. Apparently, these ants, if they bite you, it's really bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they were swarming on him, and he had to literally do this and sit in a bench behind me because they're chasing after him. I said, it's not normal for ants to attack a person, but it's normal for a spirit to make an ant come after you, right?
Hmm.
was it
And
a fire ant, Irene?
I don't know. They live in this friggin' tree,
Oh,
and
that's
this
what
building that was half taken out by the atomic bomb was a trade center. It was the commerce building that they show in all the pictures, right, of Hiroshima. And Yeah, that place is so freaking haunted. You wouldn't believe it. Like I went during the day of the time. Like they didn't care. They came out anyways. They were ready to talk to you, right? Yeah, but yeah, they came after me, and I asked my friend. I said, "What crystals could I bring?" I had obsidian. I had a pink rose quartz. I had regular crystal. I had everything, and I had a tiger. I said, "Bring a tiger." I said, "Okay, I'll bring a tiger." I had this bag of crystals. It didn't work with a hoot. So much for that idea. Yeah, we came back to the hotel. I was exhausted. I had to go to sleep for a couple hours because yeah, it did me in. But man, some places are like that. You don't care what you can be packing anything and everything to protect you of all crystals, and it's gonna still bug you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I came back and I kind of like laughed. They said, my husband, "What's so funny?" I said, "Yeah, they came after you. You're packing all my crystals in my handbag. They still came after you in the most god awful way of being an ant and chasing after you and trying to bite you. But they didn't come after me. That's the thing, right? But they still got me with my knees." And I said, I was crying, and I couldn't walk afterwards. I'm tell you, I couldn't walk. But as soon as I got back to the hotel, I was fine. Let's
Yeah.
go for supper. I'm hungry.
Yeah. Just get out of that particular area and that energy field.
Oh yeah, it was
It's
bad.
changed.
It was bad. I mean, you couldn't go near the building because they had it was fenced, right? But doesn't mean that they can come near you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it was really good. It was a really good investigation. The only reason why I did it because my mom, who passed away in 1999, had um uh radiation poisoning because of the atomic bomb when she was when she was growing up. During the war, they ran to Hiroshima because they were getting bombed too much in Tokyo. So they ran there, and yeah, she got hit and she got sick, and she didn't live very long. She only lived. She died before her 60th birthday.
Wow.
That's
Way
why I
too young.
want. That's why I wanted to go there for personal reasons,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the most hardest investigation I've ever done in my whole life. I couldn't. I had to keep a professional face like this.
Yeah. I'm because there was a lot of emotion involved in that one.
Yeah, it there's so many times I wanted to cry. I
Yeah.
couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't because of feelings and emotions I got from the people who were talking to me who did die,
Mm-hmm.
and there were some were Americans, some were from other countries. They all they had was they came with their families to bring blankets, hand out blankets, water, and food to the people, and they were killed in
Mm-hmm.
one blast. And they're kind of pissed off because that's what happened because
Right.
they had nothing to do with the government, right?
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I mean, it was one of the most difficult investigations I've ever done.
I can even
If
imagine.
I want to go back, right, for a different reason
Mm-hmm.
because I know that first time was okay, but I want to go back for a different viewpoint. Yeah, I came back and I said to my husband, you know, that was so difficult. It
It
I
had to
can't.
be.
There
It
are
had.
no.
You just brought a tears to my eyes.
There's no.
It had to be awful.
There's no words that I could summon up and bring as a sentence.
Mm-mm.
It was hard.
You know, another place I think would be hard energy wise would be in Dachau or any of the concentration camps.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that energy, all the Jewish people lives that were lost,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I think that's probably just a mass of confusion and
Hmm.
hurt and
Hmm.
pain and
Yeah.
all of all that stuff.
What I usually like to do, I can't, but I usually like to sit in the middle of a place and let everything come to my ears and close my eyes and let me feel it. That's the way I like doing it. I'm kind of like, it's a little bit different, right?
I don't know if I'd want to in some of those places though.
But it's part of being what an investigator. Even though how hard it is, you have to learn, right?
That's true. That is true.
You want to know,
Yep.
you want to see, even though you don't want to, but you do.
Hmm.
Yep.
For the reasons of bringing it out to show others,
That's right. You're right.
to to help others, to educate. It's an education system, right? We educate people, right?
Hmm.
We are teachers. They are students.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would go there,
Hmm.
but it's in my head still, right? Because Amanda and I, we are teachers, right?
Yeah.
And we want to teach the people of probably what really happened, and probably how the people felt, and probably how the words came out of their mouths, and probably write something with the words that came out of their mouths, right? And I think we are all educators, right?
I
We
think
teach the people, no
the
matter
one,
how hard it is.
yeah, the ones that will listen,
Yeah,
the ones
I
that,
don't care. I don't care. I just bird. I just
mm,
you want it, you can use it. You don't like it, that's too fine. You
that's
can
right.
leave it. I don't give a right.
That's right.
And I think that's a beautiful part of being us, right?
Mhm. And I think you and I are very close in age. I just saw that you had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
She went to the Vampire Cafe to celebrate, and I told her I'm so jealous because I always wanted to go there.
The Vampire Cafe?
Yeah, it's the one in Tokyo.
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I'm
Well,
jealous too.
there's only reservations only.
I think it's probably the same thing in America, where it's just
You gotta come.
I must.
popularity. Will.
You
I would
gotta
love
come.
to. I would love to. My
Stay at
birthday is
my.
in November.
You stay at my place. Stay at my place.
I see. I will be the same age in November.
Stay at my place. Drag Amanda out from where she is.
Yes. Yes.
Vampire Cafe,
We'll
yeah.
pull her out. We'll grab her and say, "We all stay at my place. We all have fun, all right? We'll go there for dinner, okay?"
Yes.
It's a 5-course meal. It's an Italian restaurant. It was so good. And the waiters and waitresses all dressed in, we could say goth, but it's like, yeah.
Like
And they
vampire.
have a and they have a casket in the middle of
Oh,
it.
nice.
Wow. I
Yeah.
would love it. I would love it. I would love that.
In the middle of the floor, they have a casket. It's so cool. But yeah, I mean, yeah. And they made me a birthday cake with a rolled cake with whipping cream, chocolate whipping cream on top of it. Oh, it was delicious.
I love whipped cream here in Japan. I feel
Yeah,
like it tastes better than American whipped cream.
I'm sure it does. It has
because
to.
our milk is thicker and richer, right, Amanda?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think I would like it because I'm like, oh, it's less sugar, but somehow it tastes so much better.
A lot of your food is so much better than over here. Um,
It is.
no,
It's
when I
less sugar, no, less preservatives, if any.
yeah, when
Yeah.
when I when I was over there in at 20 or whatever, I was really picky. I was a really picky eater,
Hmm.
and I brought peanut butter with me because I knew I would eat peanut butter. I didn't know if I could. I knew I couldn't eat raw fish. I knew that.
Hmm.
I couldn't eat a fish staring at me. But and another of my castmates was also very picky, and he had peanut butter with him as well.
Hmm.
We found a McDonald's in Tokyo. We were so happy.
Hmm.
And that is the best McDonald's I've ever had anywhere. There was no grease. There was it was just it just tasted better.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
food is just
it
better
does.
there.
I said that same thing. Is something about McDonald's here tastes better than the one in America.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah.
You might order the same thing, but somehow it tastes better over here.
Oh, it does.
Recently, when we were in Osaka, we had Burger King. I'm not really a big fan of Burger King in the States, but Burger King here tastes so much better.
Yeah.
All of your food does. All of it.
And the lettuce is more crispy in the Burger King here than it is. You know, I had Burger King there too. Yeah.
You
Nothing.
also you have another restaurant, or you did at that time, that was similar to a McDonald's called, was it First Kitchen or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that?
that's
Yeah.
Wendy's. So
Oh, is
Yeah.
it now?
yeah, because we had that in Osaka too, and I showed people a picture. I'm like, it's funny because here not only can you order floats, different floats, but they
Hmm.
also sell beer,
Oh,
Yeah.
which
wow.
you'll never get in Wendy's in America.
Nope.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
Mm-mm.
The first thing, I was so surprised when we landed, and we Tokyo was our first stop,
Hmm.
and we were walking around the city. We came up on, of course, a camera shop, and different kind of shops, but right there on the street was like six vending machines of anything and everything you could imagine. And I
Hmm.
had never seen a vending machine for whiskey. I'd never seen a vending machine for ice cream,
Hmm.
and just, yeah, it was everything. It was
Yeah.
amazing. Your
Yeah.
country is amazing.
They got vending machines for everything and
You
anything, right?
do.
Yeah. Even if you're in the more risque side, like they got vending machines for that too. You know.
They got vending machines for
You'll see
everything.
it in black. It says 18 plus.
Wow. I didn't see any of those then. I didn't see any of those then.
Oh, we found one, and of course we did it because we were curious. It's kind of like a surprise on what you get, but that's why we did it because we're like, I have to see.
So it was all a surprise. You put your money in and you
Yeah, it's
didn't know
because
what.
it says 18 plus, so it says you have to be 18 plus to use this vending machine.
Oh,
Different things come out.
that would be interesting.
Yeah,
I would have had to put.
Oh yeah, they got that in certain parts of Tokyo too. That yeah, like we all laugh about it, right? They got places in the mountains too, not near Tokyo, but more north of us, right? They got places where they worship men's, you know what? You get big, huge, men's organ
Wow.
made out of wood, and the woman's supposed to climb on it.
No. No, no.
It's supposed to promote fertility in women.
And I'm sure lots of people do that.
And yeah, they got all kinds of pictures too, like their paintings. Okay, yeah. And there's in Tokyo they have a celebration. I forgot what it is. I think I messaged you about it, right? You can
yeah.
get you can get ice cream. And
Every tree is male organ shaped.
Wow.
Because I've seen also videos from other people who went and they tried the food like any food you get looks like it.
and they have a shrine that the men take out, right? It looks like that.
Wow.
Oh God, because you see, we have a population problem, right? There's not enough children. Okay, there's too many older people, not enough children. So they do that to promote
Somebody's got to
people
do.
having children. Okay, I didn't know anything till I came to Japan. I said like this, and my kids. Like I had my kids with me. Okay, they were in elementary school, I think, and they were walking through this place. And they didn't phase them at all. Like whatever, right? And I said whatever. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. Certain places in outside of Tokyo, in the mountains, you got all kinds of crazy stuff.
Wow.
I kind of laughed my guts out. My husband, he was walking through it, and I said, "What's this place about?" He goes, "Well, you know that." And I go, "Huh?"
I think it's one of those festivals you need to experience at least once in your life, though. At least once.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is the only country that comes up with that, right? You gotta. This is Japan, you guys. Like, don't be ashamed. Like,
Yeah.
you go to a a convenience store. You buy a comic book, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's out in public too, you know.
People are saying that. People are saying that, oh yeah, I went to the convenience store, let's look at the magazines. And I'm surprised out and about is the adult ones. Not even really hidden, and they're like, "What?" And they're like, "I guess welcome to Japan."
Yeah.
This is
See,
Japan, okay?
they don't do that here now. They're all covered up and
Yeah.
you know.
And
However, there's if you are a bride and want to have a bridal party in Nashville, you can rent a limousine that looks like a man's heart
hmm hmm
and ride around.
Amanda, that's what we should do.
Oh,
Me and Amanda.
Nashville?
Yeah, in
Yeah, we went to
Nashville.
Nashville just for that. Irene, I could see us doing it actually, which is the funny thing.
Yeah, we're not. We're far from being so-called normal. Okay, we're just out of it. We should.
I think most people in the paranormal are not considered normal.
I
Nah,
don't think,
nah.
yeah,
No. I'm beyond help.
in a good way. In a good way.
Oh God, you know, I think a lot of us are just a little bit. We're so serious, right? We have to have some humor because what we do is so hard to deal with in other people. I think we have to have that like part of us because it gets pretty hard. It gets pretty difficult sometimes, you know.
You have to put up boundaries. Have you found that? You have to put up boundaries even around some people that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz have you run into what I call energy vampires?
Yeah,
They'll
Big
just
green
sap,
man.
oh,
yeah,
and you're exhausted after you and they're like this the whole time.
yeah,
Trying to they want to know something but they never shut up so you can talk to them.
yeah.
And I can't. I have to just kind of block them out.
Mhm. Yeah. Or you say, okay, you walk on your side of the street, I'll walk on my side, okay? This is where we walk on. This is where you walk on, okay? Don't come over to my side.
It smells like the shadow figures here, Irene. That's what they do over here.
Yeah,
This is my side of the road right here. You can walk on the other side.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I will.
You do what you do. I do what I do.
Yep.
But isn't that the truth, right? Isn't that the truth? Um, yeah. I find my in-laws are like that. So
Are they?
yeah,
Good thing your husband doesn't speak English.
yeah. You don't know what my husband says. Okay, if there's a new swearing word in Japanese, he'll do it. Oh gosh, he's a little bit different too. He'll say, "Let's go there." I go, "You sure?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Okay." But he's fun to be with, right? Yeah, it's just different. I think my husband's a little bit different too. I think it was built a little bit different, put together a little different.
I think people around paranormal people have to be different, especially if
Mm-hmm.
you end up marrying somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because my husband is not into paranormal stuff, but he has started going to investigations with me this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it took him a while, but
Mm-hmm.
he started this year. So he's
Mm-hmm.
getting a little bit more into it.
Mm-hmm. Are your kids into it or not?
I just have cats. He's got two boys, and they're
Mm-hmm.
one is 32 and one
Mm-hmm.
is 27, I think. And they're not. The older one wants nothing to do with it. He'll go to historic places that are haunted during the day. He doesn't want to be there with you at night.
You should tell. It doesn't matter if you're there day
Yeah,
or
It
night.
doesn't. They don't care. They don't.
everyone
Yeah.
assumes that it only happens at night, which is a big misconception. Like, oh, it's haunted. Well, you're good during the day. Nothing will happen.
Mhm, mhm. That's right.
Yeah.
I got I got some of my best stuff in the afternoon, like
Yep.
3:30 in the afternoon.
Yep. The sun
Because-
blaring out and the heat is there and you yeah.
And I found too, what do you guys think about this? Um, when people talk about, well, how did you go to France and get an English EVP? Or how did you go to Japan and get an English EVP? That's just bull. Well,
There's a theory that when you pass away, you know other languages.
I
Yeah.
think it's a frequency thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you have to know any certain language. You just
No.
know everything
Yeah.
past us.
And I think they know what language. I think they just know that you can speak a certain language. I think, and
So
so they want to try to
asking,
communicate with you, right? And they
Thank
want to try to communicate with you in any language they can do it, right?
you.
So yeah, I mean, it. To me, it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
I I don't think that there is one particular language they want to talk to you or they can talk to you. It's they'll do whatever that they'll do it in whatever language they can communicate you. It doesn't matter. Like I'm in Japan, I can get people who will speak to me in English because I understand both languages and
Mhm, mhm.
they don't care, right? So I'll do communicate whatever language that they need to.
I think so too.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what country you're in,
I
right?
don't think so either.
No.
I know you might come across a word that is old, like one EVP that my first group got at my mom and dad's old store. And the old store, the basement of it was built in the late 1800s, and
Okay.
it was a turkey slaughterhouse.
Ooh.
And then the top of it, they built onto it, so that became the basement. And there was a Red Cross building, there was a furniture store, there was antiques, there was just all kinds of stuff. Ice cream plant over the years, just everything. And then my mom and dad had the store in the 70s, and
Mm-hmm.
then my dad died 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the store that long, but that first team came and got one EVP that was somebody saying, "Holy mackerel." And that's like to me, it sounds like 1930s, 1940s. I don't, one of the older
Mhm.
things. Nobody in my family ever said that. But the other
Mhm.
EVP they got was from the basement, and it was turkeys clucking. So you never know what you're going to get.
No, especially a place like that where you have so much history
Hmm.
and everything was built on top of whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna get it's like a smorgasbord of of spirits, right?
Hmm.
I think that's really cool.
I keep telling people I can't wait till in the future when ghosts start using the slang of kids now. I'm waiting for the day someone in the future or something, gets thrown across the room and you just hear an EVP yell, yeet! Like,
Or something like four. What the heck was that? Well, that's just Uncle John who died.
it'd be hilarious to get a call from my great grandkids asking me, Grandma, something got thrown and they yelled yeet. What does that mean?
Yeah. Oh, they just want to communicate with you, right? And they go, like, yeah. My kids are one is doesn't want to do anything anymore. The other two, my daughter, she says, no, I'm not doing that. My son, he goes, yeah, doing that. So I'm glad I got my son. We talk together about certain haunted things and stuff like that. And I ask him, what do you feel? And he'll tell me, and then I said, okay, you're doing really good. And so I'm trying to help him, but he'll still get freaked out. I think it runs in my family. I'll never say it, right? I'll never tell him. I won't. I can't. I mean, mm-mm. I even can't even go out and tell anybody what I do.
So you can't do it here in Japan now.
No.
Because it's such a taboo thing here that
Yeah.
you just can't.
Yeah. I think they're afraid.
They're afraid of something getting angry because they don't know how to handle angry
Yeah.
spirits here,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
It's so we remain silent, right? But that's why we did this, right? Because we want everybody to know that we're not alone. But I think I have reached out to a lot of Japanese people about our podcast, but they
Yeah, that's what we tell people. There's not really anything active. Like we've looked to try and network in Asia, other paranormal teams, people investigating, or other people, doing podcasts. We're not finding anything, other podcasts currently active. If anyone is investigating, they're going by a fake name, blurring their voice, or blurring their face, blurring or wearing a mask.
yeah.
But then
Really?
we do reach out to them. It's one of those things where they're like, I'm not gonna risk connecting with these people in case they find out my identity and then they
Yeah.
tell someone and it gets out there and it's just yeah.
Or they
Wow.
go, "Ooh." That's what they'll write to me.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really hard. It is almost impossible. But yeah, we're still gonna do it anyways, right?
Hmm.
We're still gonna have fun and go places together and do things together and show people and do podcasts and do scripted stuff and all kinds of stuff. We're gonna do that even though I share it out to to my thread on my profile. I don't care. I'll do it. I'm more open. Like I don't care if anybody says anything stupid. I'll do it. Amanda's more reserved. I said, no, I don't care. I'll do it. I don't care if they don't like it. Who gives a shit? And you know, if they say anything that's okay, yeah. So what? Have fun. Bye. We're- I think, yeah. I think you need that part. I think we're we're ready to do it, right?
Yeah.
And we're saying there's nothing wrong, there's nothing sad if you feel like when I was living in my condo, I couldn't find anybody to help me. Nobody from nowhere wanted to help me. I was crying. I was in tears. So I said, "Yeah, this is no good." So I kind of like said, "Okay." My husband said, "Okay, we're leaving. We're moving out. We're selling." I go, "Okay." So we moved out. This is my fourth year in this house. So yeah, I mean, we said forget it. It was that bad. But, I did reach out. I did have a couple of people talk to me, wanted to talk about it. Yeah. Because you're so far away from everybody else, you feel like you're secluded, all alone in this crazy little island. And I think even they were scared. So, oh well.
That is so different from here because I
Yes,
mean
a
we've
lot of
got
people to
people,
call.
yeah, and they're pretty much falling out of the woodwork every day.
Yeah.
New ones,
Yeah.
they're everywhere, and a lot of them haven't been trained. They
Yeah.
Hmm.
don't know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're not safe.
That's what I was gonna say is that not a lot of those teams actually know what they're doing. They're just going based off of TV, and it just makes it worse.
Yeah.
I knew someone who she had a bad haunting, and they called a team, and I asked her how she went, how it went the next day, and she was just like, whatever they did not only made this thing more angry, so it's worse, but they added something angry.
Oh
So it's
no.
it's just worse. And it's just like this is why people I mean people unfortunately a lot of people to paranormal, I guess, talk a big game. Oh, don't worry. I know how to help you. I know what I'm doing. Trust me, I did it before. And they never have done it before. They're just talking the game and they show up and they don't actually they just make it so much worse.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. I send out a questionnaire if I have someone have some kind of problem at their home. They have to either meet me on Zoom and answer
Hmm.
questions or fill out a
Hmm.
questionnaire, and then we can discuss it with my team,
Hmm. Hmm.
find out what's the best way. And
Hmm.
there's been a couple of times that it was over me. It was something I couldn't help with. I'm not. I I have never dealt with anything demonic,
Hmm.
and I'm not qualified.
Hmm.
I'm just not. But I can
Yeah.
help find somebody to help them.
Yeah.
But that's what a lot of these teams won't, back down and say, "Oh, I don't really know how to help you, and I don't know how to get anybody." But they'll just go in and do whatever and
Yeah.
make it worse.
Yeah. Remember, Amanda, you told me that there was a lady who needed help, and they said she had all these other things. They said, "Bye, we're gonna go."
Yeah,
Remember?
so this person I knew, they were in talk with this she was an 89-year-old woman. She was her house was haunted and she was usually talking to them, but they were a few hours away. They're like, if you actually need help, we'll come down there, we'll make the drive. But they found someone more local. So, they're like, cool, at least you're getting a help. So they checked in with her afterwards, and it's a good thing they did because they said immediately after I spoke with her, I dropped everything. I went down there to help her because this team went into her house and said, "You have two demons that cannot be removed. You also have two portals open that cannot be shut," and left. Like I said, she's 89 years old, and I'm just thinking, how are you gonna tell an 89-year-old woman that? I mean, what if she gets scared to death from
Well, you
that?
know, she had
And
to be.
Yeah,
and when
and
they got there, they said there wasn't any demons, there wasn't anything open. There was like one thing there, and we easily got rid of it. And she was fine after. And I'm like, this is what I'm saying. Is paranormal teams just come in and
yeah,
start doing and saying whatever they feel. I'm like,
you know,
how did they
like,
come up with that conclusion though?
what if she had a heart attack and died in
That's
the
what I'm
house
saying.
because
At
of what?
89 years old, you know how likely that could be.
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
you said you have a demon, you have two demons in your house. There's nothing you can do about it
like,
and leave.
God,
That's why they dropped everything because they're just like, no, it's hard
Wow.
on a person younger than that.
yeah,
89, yeah. I mean, there is such a thing called being scared to death.
Sure
yeah,
there
So
is.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, if you can't do anything, don't do it. Don't go there. Don't even talk to them. Don't even do anything. Right? Believe. You
Mm.
know. Sorry, this is above my pay grade. Grade. I can't do it. There's nothing wrong with saying that, right?
that's what also
Well,
people are saying. There's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. If there's a situation, everyone's done it. If there's
Yeah,
a situation you're like, I can't handle this alone,
yeah,
you call someone else to help. There's no shame in that.
that's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah,
right. And
yeah,
doing co-investigations with other teams.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
always helpful too.
yeah,
And working with as many different people as you can because you can
yeah,
learn different techniques
yeah,
and you can teach them something, they can teach you something
yeah,
no matter how long you've both been in the
yeah,
game, even if
yeah,
you're just starting. You might have a good idea,
yeah,
but don't go in somewhere knowing everything because you
yeah.
don't.
No,
You
no.
don't.
Paranormal
That's
field.
why I do that too. Sometimes I'm like this. I'm on FaceTime and I go in and I help and somebody's there or the homeowner's there and then that's how I get rid of something. Sometimes that's what I'll do. I'm not always physically available to go there, but I'll do it this way. And it does work. It doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter if you're there or not. It's about depends on how your energy is and how good you
That's
are.
right.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
right. It's all the frequency. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah. And I had one that I went with one team and I was on the phone and I was doing this. I said, okay, let me bring me in that room, bring me in that room, go in that room, do this and do that. So they did that and they said, okay, it's done. It was a grandpa who was haunting the place. And yeah, he just wanted to tell you something. And that's all. And they said, okay, your house is good. It didn't take very long, right? But yeah, it still took 4 or 5 hours, right?
I think
But
that's the most of it. It's the
yeah,
spirit is trying to communicate
yeah,
something.
yeah,
Nobody's getting it until you have a psychic or somebody come in that
yeah,
can actually understand what the
yeah.
spirit is trying to communicate.
And there is a difference between a visitation and a haunting. People think that everything's a haunting, but
No.
no, no. Like we have to tell the people that the homeowner, no, it's not a haunting. It's a visitation. Like yeah, but they're still scared to death of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you,
There's no rhyme or
so
reason why they picked your house and kind of stopped by, but they just stopped by and left.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Well, here there used to be a lot of train tracks going through,
hmm
and all these little towns used to have depots, so there would
hmm
be drop offs.
hmm
People would get off in that small town. Some of those spirits are still traveling those train tracks,
yeah, yeah,
and jump on and off, and
yeah,
you just never know what you're going to get.
exactly. It's like a what I find it's really interesting to find out how the spirit passed away and how what is life like and stuff like that. I love learning about stuff like that. I never get enough. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so much more fun than watching TV. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm not into a lot of those. Um, they call it slasher movies. I don't know. Whatever, right? It's some
Oh,
crazy person trying to kill another person. Okay,
I,
so
I
what?
kind of like them. I kind of like them. I kind of,
But
that's how I get wound down so I can go to sleep.
uh,
We're all a little mixed up, aren't we?
yeah,
That's mine. That's
mhm.
mine.
I like the more haunted, the real spirit haunting places movies. So I watch that. I go, ooh, that's cool. That's cool. My kids was like, quit watching that. That's horrible. That's not right. But in this country, if you're not aware of what you're watching, some of the sometimes some videos that come out, right? I don't post Japanese haunted videos, and just the reason why is that I was watching one time this really cool investigation. It was, I don't know, it was really cool. It was in this country. I was watching it and I said, "Oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool." And I was glued to whatever I was watching it. And my son came upstairs and he said, "Mom, what are you watching?" I go, "What? I'm just watching a video." And he goes, "You watching a haunted video?" I go, Maybe." He goes, "Come on, you tell me." I go, "Okay, I was." He goes, "Don't watch it anymore." I go, "Why? I think it's really cool." He goes, "Because that kid just came to my door and looked at me." I said, "Okay, I'll turn it off."
It's not just here, is you can have the United States too, and people just
Yeah.
don't realize that.
And,
Wow.
and the thing is that videos here have to be blessed in order for you to watch, okay?
Really?
Yeah. Some of them are pretty bad. And this was a blessed video, apparently. I was just watching. I thought it was really cool, right? He freaked out. He was sitting there sleeping, and funny, he woke up. He goes, "What the hell?" He went like that, and then and then it disappeared. He said, "Mom, what are you watching?" I go, "Why?"
But the videos over there have to be blessed.
A lot of them have to be blessed. It depends on how bad it is and how bad the place is.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's more sensitive than, like, he's more freaky than me, right? He's triple freaky. And he says, "Mom," he goes, "What watching that video?" I go, "How do you know what I'm watching?" He goes, "Because the thing just came."
Wow.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
and it freaks him out more than because he doesn't know what to do with it afterwards. He just knows how to get rid of it. For me, I know what to do with it afterwards. I either cross you over or I kick you out, right? Depending on who you are, what you are. But yeah, for him, he just freaks out, and it comes to him, not to me, right?
I guess it doesn't really matter where you are
Yeah.
watching something like that, does it?
No.
No, I've had American ghosts come over here, so it's like it doesn't
Really?
matter. 'Cause a lot of people are like, "Oh, they can't travel." Like, yes, they can. I've had
Yes, they
American
can. They can
ghosts
go
visit me.
wherever they want to, however they want to, or
Like,
any
you
way
guys
they
act
can.
like they have to catch a flight over here. They don't.
Yeah.
Forget about the 747. I'm gonna go on A360.
Somebody asked me the other day if I thought spirits could see the future. And I said, well, when I catch an EVP, I catch a sentence, and if I find like a couple of extra syllables in it, like it's like this a stutter, like they're trying to stutter a word and it's not coming out clear, I flip that EVP around and there's another EVP, a completely separate sentence. So if they can talk forwards and backwards at the same time,
Hmm.
there's
Yeah.
no telling what else they can do.
Yeah.
saying is you just there's certain things they just won't tell you either.
Yeah. I got one friend who asked me how is it like in heaven, and I had a spirit that crawled over his wife, and she said, "Oh, I'm beautiful. I'm I'm walking in my I'm walking amongst in the flower garden. Flower garden? Oh, yeah, they create their own heaven.
Yeah, I love that theory too, and I always say that Supernatural has that theory out there too, where
Yeah,
everyone has their own heaven, but there's like the guard. It's like think of it as Disney World,
yeah,
where there's the main park,
yeah,
which is like Magic Kingdom, or I guess in a heaven sense, the Garden of Eden.
yeah,
All the angels are, everyone like
yeah,
that. And
yeah.
then there's like the other parts to it. It's like think of it as you have your own little
Hmm.
park at Disney,
Yeah,
where your heaven is going to be different from someone else's. So
yeah,
it's
mm,
your own heaven.
yeah.
Something
It's
you
how you make it.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
as far as that concerns, is they're not gonna tell me anything more than that. I don't think they can. I don't think they're allowed to.
Yeah, it's almost like they're kept from it and we're not ready for it. We
Hmm.
we couldn't understand it anyway,
Yeah.
you know.
So
There's I mean,
it's information.
yeah. How many other dimensions are they on? We don't
yeah,
really know.
No, no. But I have my window open. People call it portal. Okay, whatever you want. Call it whatever you want. I don't care. Like I'll show you. I got one here where the spirits have crossed over. One more here where they haven't. One more here is the demonic, and one more here is where my relatives are. So yeah, it's just, like that's my room, right?
And that's where they come in and check on you and see you and
Yeah, yeah. So everyone's I'm going boo boo all over the place. Yeah, it's just it's just different. Okay. Anyone says, "Oh, you gotta close that portal," I said, "Yeah, if I need to." They'll come out and they'll bother you. Yeah, most likely they won't. You know?
I'm thinking too, if they don't want that portal closed, we don't really have the tools to completely close it. We might close it as best we can.
Yeah.
yeah. That's why I tell people, even if you close it, it might be temporarily. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, once we close it, close. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've seen them reopen. There's not really, and it's not that anyone did anything.
No.
Mm-mm.
It just kind of reopened. Whether they did it or it just reopens, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. I know at the old hospital here that things have popped through the portal
Hmm.
that weren't normally there. And
Hmm.
it's because some groups come in experimenting, trying
Hmm.
to summon
Oh
things,
gosh.
and,
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that happens at a lot of haunted places around.
Hmm. Hmm.
And there's no telling what all is still just popping through because they didn't close the session.
Yeah. You if, once you bring something through that, or know what the heck you're doing. Okay. One number one. Number two. Once you bring something through, you got to learn to put it back and
Yeah.
and say bye bye.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's what they don't say is buy. And people talk about how Ouija boards are so bad. Well, so we use voice recorders to talk to spirit. We use
Yeah.
pendulums, copper wires.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
else? A
Yeah.
spirit box. That's Aren't they all really like Ouija boards when you think about it?
Hmm.
And if you don't close them, things can still pop through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
When I close my window, I usually do this in yeah. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. This is an example. Okay. Yeah, but
Mhm.
that's what I usually do. But yeah, I mean, it just know what you're bringing through and know what you're gonna do with it, and know what it is, and know that you have to put it back if you don't like it. If it doesn't belong there, you know,
Right, right. Just close your
because
sessions.
yeah,
Yeah, when you're doing a spirit box session, say goodbye when you're
yeah,
done.
yeah, and say you're not allowed to follow me home.
Cannot. That's right.
Oh, yeah,
You cannot follow me home.
yeah.
I've
I
had
usually
I've had hitchhikers that,
yeah,
Yeah.
I think probably a lot of us have,
yeah,
and we don't realize it until a
yeah.
little bit later, and then, oh, what is that? What has happened there?
Like you feel kind of off inside because
Mhm.
there's something really weird. You know, my friend said, "Have you got an attachment?" I said, "Oh, that's something I
Probably.
didn't think. Probably." You know, I said, "Probably, yeah." So I had to get rid of it myself,
Nothing
and I
new.
got yeah.
I had a good attachment. I I got sick. We went up to
Hmm.
Pennsylvania to my husband's family for him to
Hmm.
visit, and I got sick, food poisoning in Pittsburgh.
Oh,
And we were going across. We had taken a whole week, so this was like the second day, and that food poisoning just sidelined me for about 24 hours. And
did
then,
number.
yeah, just didn't, I couldn't leave the hotel. Ugh, just one of those. So the next day, we were driving through Pennsylvania Dutch country, and we
Hmm.
went to Valley Forge.
Hmm.
And I was feeling better, but not great because the
Hmm.
weather was super hot and
Hmm.
the humidity was bad.
Ugh.
And I went to the visitor center because they had an air condition. And I said, oh, I got to sit here for just a little bit to feel better. And he said, let me go get the truck. Let's just go. And so he did. And then the next day, we were in Philadelphia, and
Hmm.
I was fine. I had no problems. We went to Gettysburg. We even ate Philly cheesesteaks in
Wow.
Philadelphia, and I had no problem eating. We went down through Shenandoah Valley National Park, and then came back into Tennessee. And about, I don't know, 2 or 3 days after we got home, the energy was different. It
Hmm.
wasn't bad, but it was different.
Hmm.
And then I heard rustling, some kind of rustling sound. And I knew something was there, but I didn't know what because I can't see usually.
Hmm.
And so I waited for him to go to work, and I got out my all my stuff and started going around with my voice recorder and trying to capture anything. And
Hmm.
the only EVP I got at that time, I walked into the bathroom and flipped the light on and was talking into the voice recorder. And I said, okay, well, I'm turning the light off now. And I flicked it off and continued on. When I downloaded that audio, the EVP I got when I turned the light off was thank you. This sweet little voice. And I thought, aha, I knew I had somebody here. I knew it. And so I asked more questions. And I found out that she was a nurse from the Valley Forge region. And she had actually been a nurse during wartime, but she latched onto me because I wasn't feeling good. Came all the way back to Tennessee with me, and I was fine. The thing is, we also had a ghost cat. And 3 months after she was here, I kind of noticed the energy shifted again, kind of like
Hmm.
pins and needles, kind of like, I
Hmm.
need to do something, but I don't know what I need to do. You're
Hmm.
kind of antsy. And I
Hmm.
called my friend and I said, I think my ghost is not wanting to be here anymore. It's not that she's unhappy, but it's like she's ready to go, I
Mhm.
think. And he says, well, just wish her, tell her thank you so much for all she did and wish her on her way. And
Mhm.
that's what I did.
Mhm.
Within the next day or so, everything had quietened down. And
Mhm.
within the next 2 weeks, I noticed something else. My ghost cat was gone.
Mhm.
So they kind of bonded.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
wherever she went, if she went back to Pennsylvania or wherever they went
Mhm.
together. And I thought that was so sweet.
Oh, that's so
I
nice.
love that.
Yeah.
I've
My
heard of that where a child will die and there's another protective kind of spirit that watches over them, and they're like, yeah, this spirit protects the little girl.
Hmm.
uh, I have a friend who lives in Indiana. The one who was telling you that I'm teaching her. She lives on a haunted land. I mean, it's so bad. You won't believe it. I mean, she tried kicking them out. She got the brunt end of it for doing that. That she's on the land where these Native American spirits live. Okay,
Okay.
they
Hmm.
died there on the land, and it's a huge property. They're in the trees. They're everywhere, right? So I said to her, "Okay, we can't fight them off." Like she was saging her house all the time. It looked like a hut that yeah, smoke hut. That's what it looked like in her house, right? And I said, okay, we can't kick them out. They belong there as much as you do. They own the land as much as you do. I said, let's work with them. My friend has type 1 diabetes and she was sick all the time. I said, let's work with them. She goes, Irene, what are you doing? I said, well, can't fight them. You got to live with them, right? She goes, I hope you know what you're doing. I said, well, this is my last straw. Okay, this is the last thing I can do. I said, okay. I said, these spirits on her land, they hear everything. Okay, you can't say anything bad about somebody. If you do, they come after that person. I'm serious. Okay.
Wow.
I said, okay, let's work with it. And I go, she goes, okay, I hope you know what you're doing. And I go, yeah, you could trust me. She goes, I trust you. I go, she was looking at holy shit to her face, right? You can see it in her eyes. I said, okay, we're gonna work with him. I said, she goes, sure, okay, like this. I said, yeah, spirits in this land. You belong to the land. You own the land. I understand that. This is your home. This is where you died. My friend also lives on the land. She respects you. You're part of her. She's a part of you. And please help my friend. Please heal her. She she said she got so dizzy she had to go lay down. And I called her the next day. I said, "Hey, are you feeling better?" She goes, "Yeah, something happened. I'm no longer sick anymore. I still have my diabetes, right? But I don't have to go to the doctor. I have to cancel my doctor's appointment."
That's wonderful.
They kind of healed her of her ailments. Now she only goes to the doctor when there's something different.
That's wonderful.
So I said, "Yeah, they healed you. You know that?" She goes, "Yeah, I can't believe it." And then her doctor said, "Why are you canceling your appointment with me? I thought you weren't feeling very good." She goes, "Yeah, I don't need to go anymore."
Makes you wonder
Yeah.
how much more that could happen.
Hmm.
Because, over here, it's all native.
Yeah.
Everywhere was had Native Americans.
Yeah.
And they're buried everywhere. Some
Hmm.
places we have no idea
Yeah.
how many were buried there.
Yeah.
You can see mounds, but you don't know how many people are in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And if people would just be more respectful,
Hmm.
we had this one woman. that was going out on her property. It was her property.
Mhm.
She would find, an arrowhead. She would find just
Mhm.
different things, and she would take them all back into her house. And she had this little setup on her windowsill and somewhere else, and all these Native American things were laying out. Well, after she had brought these in her house, she
Mhm.
started having problems.
Mm.
She started hearing things, she started seeing things, and she was being haunted. Well, we had one of our buddies went with us, and he came into this one room and he goes, "Oh my goodness, you've got a lot of native artifacts right here. Where'd you get those?" And she said, "Oh, I just found them outside." And he said, "On your property?" And she said, "Yeah, I just brought them in." And he goes, "Did you leave anything when you picked each one up?" And she said, "What are you talking about?" He said,
Mm.
"Well, you kind of got to leave an offering. If you
Mhm.
take something, you've got to offer something." And
Mhm.
she said, "Oh, no, I didn't." He said, "Well, they're upset with you. That's why you're being haunted."
Mhm.
So, how many times does that happen?
Or you
That's
need to
what
put them
happened.
back and apologize for taking them and say, "I'm sorry that I took them away from the land. I'm sorry. I apologize to you, and I return these artifacts to the land that are yours."
Mhm.
And yeah,
And give an offering on top
yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah,
Something,
yeah.
something.
Something that's precious to you, that
Mhm,
you treasure. You
mhm.
could give that to them, and they'll appreciate it. Yeah,
That's right.
but
That's right.
yeah,
They think that's what happened to the Lake Shawnee amusement park, and that's why it
yeah.
was like cursed. Because they found out later, much later after it was built, I think they're remodeling or building something new or doing something. So they're digging something new on that after the amusement park was closed, and that's when they found an Indian burial ground on the property.
Oh. Mm.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
A lot
mm-mm,
of people are like,
mm-mm,
oh, that
mm-mm.
explains all the mysterious deaths that happened, and that's why it was shut down.
Oh, and you know what? No
Wow.
matter what you build on there, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
They haven't built anything. They just you can now go and be there for a whole night to
Yeah,
investigate if you want.
yeah. But I mean,
But they
no matter
can't be
what you do,
happy.
yeah,
Yeah. They can't be happy. I know
no.
in Chattanooga, when they were building back around the turn of the century, back
Mm-hmm,
1899, 1900,
mm-hmm,
um, they were building an area around the river,
mm-hmm,
and they ran into this native burial ground, and they shoved them into the river. They shoved them and didn't do any kind of ceremony. They didn't, acknowledge them. It's just get rid of them. Some that they found, they just covered them back up and built on top of them. And no wonder the natives are upset.
oh yeah, people are stupid, right?
Yes. Yes. They think they can outsmart some things, but the
They know more than
supernatural
us.
you
Knows
can't,
more than us.
yeah, you can't outsmart. You
No,
just can't.
They're watching you plan it anyway, so it's like it doesn't make sense. They know what you're doing.
no,
Ah.
no, no. Yeah, I mean, it's usually a simple solution, but people are too. Yeah, they don't want to listen to you. They say, "You're crazy, right? You think
No
that's
one wants
gonna
to
work?"
believe it could be something simple, though.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Like,
That's right.
I mean, people back then were not. They lived off the land. They believed in simple lives, and yeah, they didn't require a whole lot of whatever, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, um, they're not they're not like us who we think differently. But yeah, all you require is something and
Mhm.
give it back to them. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, if when you think about some places that have always had problems,
Mm-hmm.
it makes you wonder
Mm-hmm.
if that's why there were
Mm-hmm.
problems, if it's native related.
Yeah.
There's a dam really close by here, Hell's Bar Dam,
Mm-hmm.
between here and Chattanooga, and it has never been a good dam. It was a town. They flooded it. They moved some of the graves, others they left. So they just flooded the graveyards. This was Native American land. And some say that because the natives were pushed out
Mm-hmm.
back several years before this even happened, that the chief's name was Chief Dragging Canoe,
Mm-hmm.
and he supposedly put a curse on the land in that area. So this dam was built years later. It never ever held water back. It always leaked. They could not patch it enough. It was so bad that they had to close it down and do the best they could with it, but build a dam downriver that was better. But it just never was what they needed it to be.
He's right here with me, you know that. Yeah, he's telling me all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a lot to tell.
Oh yeah, he's got a mouthful. He's got a mouthful.
And I'm sure they all do. And I'm sure they're all just like, damn white men. You know? There's damn white men think they know what they're doing. They don't know. They don't know
They
what
don't
they're
know.
doing. They don't know what they're doing.
No. No.
I
Yeah.
used to live before I moved here. I used to live in a house where I didn't pick the house. The spirit living there did, and it was the first house in the neighborhood, and it was the original owner. She's still kind of there because built the house, raised kids there, kind of lived there. So it's just kind of like her property. She's just happy to be there. That's why she just kind of never moved on. She picked me to move there, and if you're not sensitive, you don't get that.
Mm-mm.
So I moved in, and we kind of had like we kind of had this understanding where spirit wise, I know it's her house. In the real living world, she knew it was my house. So both were aware of each other's existence, but
Yeah.
we both left each other alone. I didn't try, run any equipment or anything because she's just like, I'll leave you alone, you leave me alone, we'll call it good.
Yeah.
But I loved her because she was the old, tough Southern granny type,
Mm.
where on her little realm, nothing could enter. Like, if you did not have her permission to be there, you were not, nothing could enter that house. That's one thing I miss is
Yeah.
there's no way you're getting past Granny. Like, nah,
Granny's
she's
tough.
like, yep, she was
Yeah.
just like, you go to your haunted locations, you come in here as soon as you walk in that door, this is your safe area. They trying to follow you. Nope, I got it.
Wow.
So
I love Granny.
I know, I miss her because she did not let anything in that house. Like, this is mine. I told people, yeah, she's friendly to me, but anything tries to follow me home, she's like, nah, not my house.
I
Not
love
in
her.
my house.
Yeah. She's
And
a protector.
people were some psychic mediums. I tell them about her. They'd be like, well, yeah, I entered your house. I talked to her. Are you sure she's friendly? Because she looked at me and said, "Who the hell are you?" And I'm like, "Because you didn't have permission to be there. I just told you this. You have to have her permission. You did not have her permission. You were just like, the hell are you doing in my house?"
I'm gonna drag you out on your knees.
Yeah, she would chase everyone. I was like, you either didn't make it in the house or you were soon chased out. I'm like, you have to have her. You can't just put your energy into the house. You can't just have a spirit enter the house because she's gonna be like, I don't ever give you permission to enter this house. I don't think so.
But you're gone.
Yeah,
Yeah. Get out of my house.
Get out.
that's what she was doing. Like, not my house.
I love that.
Yeah, that is so cute. Like I would love to stay in a house like that and say, yeah, that's my protector.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, she
absolutely.
didn't like anything. Follow me in. Because she's like, no, spiritually, this is my house. I don't ever given that permission to enter, so they gone.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
That is so good. That is so rare, but that is so good to have, isn't
Yeah.
it?
I
You
would
know,
love it. I would
you
love
know, you know. You wish that you'd have more of them.
That's what I'm saying. That's one thing I do miss her for that reason. You
Yeah,
cannot enter that house. It doesn't matter how evil you thought you were. You were not entering Granny's house.
yeah. I could teach you a lesson.
Yeah, you were somehow not entering that house.
You wish that, but there are some spirits that are really like that. They're really, really wanting to protect you from everything else, and there are some that want to kick your so
Yeah.
you get both sides. The thing is trying to figure out which one it is, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And you know, I think that's what makes us more want to do this work
Because
because
of everything we don't know.
yeah, and we get a good laugh out of it too.
That's
Yeah.
one thing about that is one thing about the paranormal is there's always theories. Doesn't mean we actually know. And that's why I don't like it when I see people that say, I will not investigate with someone who does not have all the exact same beliefs I do. And I'm like, how do you know you're right though?
They don't.
How do you know you're right? I'm like, I don't care. Some people just will investigate with them because who says I'm right, you're wrong? We can't actually prove anything. Every
No.
scientist always says it's like
No,
any theory you can think of. Someone always has an article how it's right. Like it's
yeah,
you just don't know.
Mm-mm.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah,
And it's good to have different opinions on your
yeah,
team, even.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can run different ideas by each other.
yeah,
You need a skeptic on there.
I was
yeah,
gonna say when you mentioned your husband with you,
Yeah.
like I absolutely love it when a team has a skeptic goes with them because they work the hardest to
Yeah.
yeah,
prove it's not paranormal.
yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And my co-founder is also a skeptic turned believer because he's seen so many things
Mm-hmm.
in the last 10 years, and more than he wanted to see, really.
Ooh,
But he's not as skeptical, but he's still a really good debunker. He
yeah,
looks he and it's like I tell everybody, you've got to try to debunk everything you come up with. You've
That's
got
why
to.
I love skeptics because they work
yeah,
the hardest to prove to everyone this
yeah.
is not paranormal,
No.
and they absolutely love proving I'm wrong. That's why I love it when they have that because yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna
But
get
then there's stuff that you can't prove, right? That
No,
yeah.
only happens once. It's what was that? And she said, I don't know. Like you didn't know? Was that a one? No. Okay, what the heck was it? Like yeah.
and then you've got some that you'll never convince anyway. So
Yeah.
Oh,
And
they
there's
could
other
walk
freaky
into a
stuff.
room with everything floating and they still wouldn't believe it.
right, right. They'd be looking for the strings. Okay, there's a string somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to walk into a room with everything floating.
There's one hotel that I used to work in, a haunted hotel. It's in the mountains of um Banff, Alberta, Canada. The hotel's been there for a long time. They have an old part and they have a new part. I used to work in the basement in the gift shop because it's a tourist attraction, and in return they use it for skiing. Apparently, the old rooms, housekeeping, the women would not want to go in the room because they got furniture spinning around the rooms.
Did you really?
They don't want to. They don't want to clean the room. They're totally against it. And housekeeping became one of my best friends because they tell me things that went on in certain rooms. So you have two rooms that you
Oh, oh no! Right in the middle of the.
That always there she is. I'm like,
they put boards. See, I'm not supposed to talk about it, okay? I just want to talk about it just one second, okay? Then we talk about it, we'll go on to something else, okay? Please? Okay, thank you. They boarded up the rooms. It was on the 14th floor, I think. And they left the rooms, the families, they left the furniture in there, they left everything. They don't want anybody going in the rooms. The whole hotel is brain haunted.
Wow.
It's that bad. Even like you don't have the abilities, you can walk through the certain rooms, the elevator, yeah, on the right hand side. Freddie was the elevator man. He died. He came back to the hotel because that's his favorite place. He wanted to live there through his death. So he's living in the elevator. He'll open up the doors in certain floors that you don't even press buttons on it. He's haunting that. The lady that had on the wedding night, she her wedding dress got burnt by the candles on the floor on the staircase leading down to the living to the dining room. She died on her wedding night. She haunts that night.
Wow.
She haunts the staircase and I think the dining room. If I'm not mistaken, she haunts the dining room. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that happen on that. And that happened long time ago. And that hotel is really freaky. Like, ugh. I'll post it on the page.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful area too.
Yeah. Behind
Just
it
to
is
see pictures of it.
Bull Falls, which creates energy, right?
Hmm.
And limestone creates energy too. So yeah, the whole thing is one good setup for a haunted place. But it's like I hated working there because and the electricity would go off, so the staff couldn't make hot dinners, so they made sandwiches for the staff, and you could buy a sandwich, right? But yeah, the electricity would go off all the time. They get all kinds of freaky stuff happening. Yeah, like I'd have to work till 11 o'clock, from 3 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night. I said, yeah, no, dude. I said, why me? Why do I always get jobs at a haunted place, right? I said to my mom, I don't like this. Why me? She goes, I don't know. You're aimed for that. I said, I didn't ask for that. But yeah, it's and the gift shop was on the basement too. Uh,
Basements are usually freaky.
Yeah,
what is it about basements and attics that are the freakiest?
yeah,
I wonder if it's because that's where most people aren't,
yeah.
so that's where spirits can go to be away from the living that are driving them crazy.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, living is driving me nuts. I'm gonna hang
That's
out
a
in the
good point.
basement.
It's like, what do you do? And you're just like, I am tired of these living people. I'm just gonna go to the basement.
Let's
Go to
all
the
hang out
basement.
in the
I'll just make them
basement.
leave me alone.
Yeah. And then when you have to go to the basement for something, they're like, ah, now where can I go?
Yeah, like what the heck are you doing? Get out of my
Get
basement.
out of my. Yeah.
This basement's mine, not yours. What the heck are you doing here? Right.
We
I
have a lot of the basements around here, uh, around the square. I'm talking about the old businesses and um, things around the town. Actually have wells in the basement. So that's kind of weird. And that gives a even freakier vibe.
Yeah. Like, I don't have to say anything. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I know we were investigating my friend's business. She was having some things happen. And so we went down into her basement and looked around, and there was a well. I'm like, oh, Valerie, did you know you had this? And she said, yeah, afraid I did. And about that time, I heard my name. And I said, did you all hear that? Nobody else heard it. And I heard my name again, second time, very clear. And I thought there was a growl, but when I got the audio home, it said, Cindy, right here, you can take our place. No,
I'm
don't,
good.
don't want to.
Mm,
Don't want to.
yeah, not doing that. Not going there.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. My third book really was supposed to be my first one, and it's called "They're Speaking, Are You Listening?" My most compelling EVPs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to go through some of my favorite investigations and all the EVPs I caught. And I wanted people to be able to hear them so they can actually, as they're reading the book, go on to elkvalleyparanormal.com.
Mm-hmm.
In the drop down menu, there's a they're speaking, and you can click on that and you can hear over 100 EVPs that are in that book.
Mm.
One of my favorite ones is from a residence, and I knew somebody was there. I couldn't see him, but I knew somebody was there. And I said, I'm just taking pictures. Follow me. So I
Mm-hmm.
went to the next room, took some pictures, and I said, come with me to the next room. And about the third time I said that, the EVP I got later was, and he was a little grumpy old man, a little southern grumpy old man.
Mm-hmm.
I got a better idea than to follow you around all night. So that's one of the EVPs you can hear.
Oh wow.
You know, you probably have to listen a few times. You make
Mm-hmm.
sure you got headphones on and earbuds, but I know your listeners probably know that.
Mhm.
Feel free to go on the website and listen to some of those EVPs.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and if you have a Kindle
Mm-hmm.
and you subscribe to Kindle Unlimited, my books
Mm-hmm.
are free. You can get them free.
Oh
So that's
wow.
a good thing.
Yeah.
That's so
Uh,
yeah.
Amanda.
Yeah, so I knew someone who once saw a spirit. This is going back to something we were previously saying, that he saw a spirit. He was asleep and he woke up. He saw a spirit approach his bed, touched him. Then he
Mm-hmm.
said, all of a sudden, like soon after, he got sick. He had this illness, and he was at the time he was kind of chubby. That's what he
Mm-hmm.
said. It's like I was kind of chubby, and then within a matter of less than a couple of months, I went from chubby to stick thin. Like that's how skinny he got.
What?
Yeah, he got sick right after, and he kept going to different doctors, different specialists, and no one could figure out what this guy had.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, who knows what they could do? That's also why I tried. If I was like, because everyone always asks me why I still don't even try and risk, taking a picture of them or talking to them if they don't want me to. And I'm like, I don't need to see what they can do to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't need
I
someone
would
walking up to me, touching me, and I get sick, and no
I
one can
would I
figure
would
out what.
I would like that ghost for a couple of months though.
I
I would
know, but I was like being sick though.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But if I could lose 50 pounds, I'd be happy.
Oh heck yeah!
And
And
a
if you
lot
can
of
get
people
rid of this
say that is,
bursitis, if you can get rid of
and a lot of people say that they say the doctors still won't admit this, but sometimes people go see doctors or in a hospital for paranormal reasons, but obviously doctors are not going to admit that.
No,
no, oh
no.
They're like,
no,
yeah, there's nothing they can do, and they even can't find anything wrong with them. It's something paranormal.
yeah,
Are they going to admit that? No, because it's
No,
not medically backed up.
no. That's why several possession cases
yeah,
got skipped over because they thought they were insane and schizophrenic and, whatever else. No, they were possessed.
yeah. Our
So,
friend that we know got sick and was in the ICU. He got better the next day after what my friend and I did. They're just, he was like, "You are dying," and they go, "Was I?" I go, "Yeah." And my friend came back to me. He said, "Thank you for helping my brother." I go, "You're welcome." And he goes, "What did the doctor said?" He was like, I'm like, "Yeah." And I spoke to his brother. I messaged his brother. I told him, "Yeah, this is what happened. Did the doctor ask you what the heck happened?" He goes, "He kind of like did. He talked to my brother." He was scratching his head. He goes, "How can you get better so fast when you're in the ICU? You're on your deathbed." And I said, "Yeah, ain't gonna
Attachments
tell you
can
anything.
attachments can make your
Not
body help.
telling you what happened.
mm-mm.
You're not gonna believe me either."
Wouldn't matter if you told them.
Nah.
You'd be like,
Do
right, sure.
you think I
100%
would?
make it better.
Yeah.
Do you think I would say anything?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Not
And
doing
they
anything.
would write a prescription for you to go see a psychiatrist.
Yeah, you you need to talk to me. I go, "No, no,
Mhm.
no." But it does happen, right? It does happen. And my friend had a shaman, right? He's dead. Okay, he's a dead shaman. He was collecting these bad spirits, putting them in his bag. I could see it, right? Don't ask me how I could see it, but I saw it. He got better really quick, and he's coming to Japan in October. He's gonna stay with me. Yeah. I didn't tell his mother what happened. I said, "You better tell your mom." He goes, in time.
Not yet. Not yet.
I started laughing, going, "Yeah, okay, whenever she's ready, you should tell her, right? Don't hide it, just tell her. I think your mother's more level headed than you think is. I think she understands because they do these spooky things together, right?" And, yeah. I kind of like didn't tell her, but I tried to, but I thought I tried to read the air before I told her. I said, "No, I think I'm not going to tell her." Yeah, yeah. I, stuff happens. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know what they did to help him, but it worked.
Some people just can't explain things.
Nope, nope. And don't ask me how. But yeah, stuff happens, right?
Mhm.
Ooh dear. Amanda,
Hmm.
time,
What?
time.
Sorry, you went out.
Oh shit.
What'd you do? Jewelry?
E-
So
Shit.
she makes jewelry, and usually that means she messed up and has to start redo it, take it apart, redo it. Well, we're waiting for a guest one day to come up. She was doing making a jewelry as we're waiting for the guest to pop up. I see them pop up in the little waiting area, and I let him in. The first thing she says is, and he doesn't know obviously that she's doing jewelry. He pops up, and the first thing she says is, "Oh shit!" And he's just standing there like, and I'm like, "Oh no, 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 it's not you. She's making jewelry. She messed up." He was like, "Oh."
Oh damn! I
He's like,
screwed
"Well, I
up.
guess that's fair." I pop up, and you're like, "Oh shit!" And I'm like, "Irene, your timing is terrible." And poor person. I'm like, "I promise it's not you." We're like, "Oh shit, you made it." It's not that case, I promise.
Okay, I need a
Like,
vacation.
that's an interesting first impression, Irene. How was being on a podcast? Well, I first popped up, Irene looked at me and said, "Oh shit."
Other than that,
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, this is what I'm making.
See, I thought about doing that too, but then I'd have to order. She can go to like rock shows and gem shows over there. I'd have to buy it all online. I'm like, I don't. It's not worth it to always have to buy everything online.
Yeah, I have probably $100 worth of stones. I make a whole bunch of stuff. I do it to kind of like relax.
mm-hmm.
I do it when I meditate because my right hand has healing power, and that's when I seek bad energy too. So I use my right hand when I make something. So I said, okay, you can have good energy when I make something, and then I make them wear, and then when they wear it, they feel nothing but good energy.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So
Yeah,
that's what I do. I do. I made Amanda a couple things too.
I
So
prefer
that's what
wearing
I.
that silk over something you buy on Amazon, just because I mean, there's obviously no intent made when you buy stuff off
Mm-hmm.
Amazon.
Right.
And half the stuff that we sell on Amazon, I hate to say it, is phony.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It, it ain't real. So
Right. That's right.
I, I don't buy it. You know, and half the stuff, if you pay money, you don't get what you paid for, right?
No.
They blow you off. So, but this, I do this a lot. So if I say, "Oh shit," I'm gonna have to give the reason why I'm saying that. I'm always doing something.
yeah, she did
And
it at that time. And I'm like, Irene, this is not a good first impression.
I said, "What?" And it was a guy too, wasn't it? Right?
Yep. I'm like, it's not you. I know it sounds like a bad breakup line. It's not you, it's her.
I'm always, you see, I do have a filter, okay? But
I
when it comes to
know.
this,
When? There's no way you're holding back.
I guess I don't. I thought I did.
No, I'm like, I refuse to believe you have a filter, Irene. There's no way you're holding back.
Okay, now I'm getting a stomach ache. I'm done. I'm done. Oh gosh, my stomach is killing me.
What
It's,
time is it over where you guys are?
It is 2 p.m.
what time is
On,
it?
I think, aren't you guys, you're on the next day though, right?
Yeah, we're ahead of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is right at midnight over here.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm mad. We've been going straight.
We're used to it though.
This has been awesome though. This
Yeah.
Yeah.
has been fun.
Yeah. You gotta come back. We'll talk more.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back on, so we'll have to make arrangements and look at the schedule to have you back on.
I would
Yeah.
love to. I would love to.
And
And
with that,
even
everyone, like she said, it's getting late where she is. So we'll have her back another day and we'll finish another 3, 4 hour conversation. Don't worry.
and you know what? You can bring whoever you want on to with you.
I don't know if anybody can put up with me. It's just me.
Oh dang. Heard that one before, right?
Right? I'm used to it.
Okay, that's great.
I did. I've had such a good time with both of you.
Yeah,
We had a
me
fun time
too.
too.
It was it was fun. We we're just a little bit different with our
Oh
podcast. We
yeah, that's
don't.
what we say. We're different. That's why we hate it when people ask us what exactly we're going to talk about on the podcast. And we're like, whatever comes up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
We
we
best
just
don't
let
kind.
have a script. We go off. We go. Everything goes sideways every once in a
Yeah,
while.
that's the best kind because you never know what's going to happen.
That's
Yeah,
what we say. We're like, that's why, like, all right, I need to know exactly what we're gonna be talking about. I'm like, well, this might not be the podcast for you if this is what if this is your demand. We don't know. Trust
yeah,
me, we do not know until we're live and
yeah.
it comes out. Okay,
And our guests, yeah, we don't know what they're gonna say either. So
we're
yeah,
like, I don't know, I don't know. What we're gonna talk about. We'll figure it out then. But somehow we always do. So
let's do it that way, okay?
yeah,
And that's why I think our podcast gets more recognition because we're not ye old paranormal podcast. Yeah, let's talk paranormal. Okay, what is that? Like, nah, not doing that. I won't. I refuse. I'm kidding. No, that's not me. Okay, I'm more loony. I like doing loony things. Well, Amanda's. Yeah, she knows.
yeah.
I'm the opposite of Mutt and Jeff. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I can be both. Yeah.
All right, everyone who's tuned in, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.